hot button.
So you know what we never brought up before when we were talking about the release of Starcraft 1?
What?
Starcraft 64.
Yo.
Which I know you have a copy of, Chris.
I do.
Maybe the only RTS I've ever seen to have split-screen multiplayer.
Yes.
Both cooperative and competitive, which there's almost a whole new level of psychological warfare to playing an RTS against someone locally and seeing everything they can do, and they can see everything you can do. That's very weird. Like...
Starcraft 64.
Did Halo Wars have split screen?
I don't know. Halo Wars had like LAN and stuff.
You know
but
it
didn't
did?
actually
Lord of
have
the Rings
split screen.
Battle for Middle-earth.
That had split screen?
Uh-huh.
Classic.
Did you just
yeah.
did you play together or was it?
You could play either way.
Oh no shit. Well then I might stand corrected, but that was a very weird port of that game.
That had fucking Minas Tirith in it.
Who?
What did your stupid Star Wars game have in it?
Wait, I said
exactly.
Starcraft.
Yeah.
Guess Minas Tirith made up by a guy 100 years ago in a trench, not whatever StarCraft stole from Warhammer.
Yeah, right?
Fucking garbage.
Whose side is everyone on?
I know.
I'm on the side
I'm
of
on Tolkien's side.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
J.R.R. Tolkien / Chaos.
Look,
That's
let's face it.
Team J.R.R. Chaos.
Jim Raynor's the best character in StarCraft. Tom Bombadil is the best character in Lord of the Rings.
It's a good name.
I don't know who Tom Bombadil is because I never read the books.
You played the game.
What game? Is
He
Tom
wasn't-
Bombadil
he
in the
wasn't
game?
in the game.
He wasn't in the game.
All right. So originally for our opening topic, I was going to bring up stuff like the PC gaming show and why EA still sucks and all that. But then some hot news came my way that I just had to bring up. Billy Mitchell, our boy, the sauce man himself, put out a formal press release. This was, I think, a couple days after we finished recording the part one. This was from the Mitchell estate, stating that his once revoked Donkey Kong and Pac-Man high scores have officially been reinstated by the fine folks at the Guinness Book of World Records Foundation in a questionable decision, saying that they, upon reevaluation, could no longer see any solid evidence of cheating. Note that this verification only comes from Guinness and not Twin Galaxies, nor their new head post-Walter Day that I mentioned in the last episode. I think the current president is Chase Hall. I forget. Either way, there's apparently still a lawsuit pending, of course, as we already all know how litigious of a dude Billy is. But yeah, thoughts?
Yo. So
I bought his buffalo sauce once. It sucks.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yeah, try suing Hot Button, you prick.
Yeah.
Your buffalo sauce sucks.
Yeah, your buffalo sauce is garbage, dude.
careful, dude. Careful.
Frank's,
yeah,
Frank,
it's gonna-
Time out.
Frank's is better.
Sidebar real quick.
So-
There's a Tom Bombadil magic card. And it's like a 15/15 legendary creature. I don't know if it's real or not.
That sounds like the unabridged stuff. I don't know.
It could be. No, so the reason why that score is so like contested is not because he cheated in the sense of like altering the game mechanics or did anything like that. It's because he played it on MAME.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It's like, it's inarguable that Billy Mitchell, as much of a knob he can be, is good at Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. Like, and he's played them publicly and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, it was like once they examined that footage, because I didn't know just how crazy Twin Galaxies is.
Yeah.
Rightfully so with how they preserve that stuff. Like, there are literally videos that don't just capture the screen, but the dip switches inside.
Yes.
Just so they know that nothing's being tampered with.
They are like, in the sense that like, if you look at the speedrun community, they have different categories like playing on VC%, right? Like virtual console. Twin Galaxies does the same, but that's because they came from an era where there was no such thing as MAME. And they want to make sure that all the games are played on original hardware.
Yes.
And did you hear the story about how the dude figured out that it came out on MAME?
Yeah, it was like how the screen drew,
Yes.
right? Yeah, there were like enthusiasts that really broke it down and discovered that,
how the screen loaded changed depending on if it was original or on MAME, which is such a thing that like only people who totally understand that through and through would understand.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, he technically got the record. But he just did it.
He definitely wanted to be known as the first person to reach the kill screen and stuff in Pac-Man and all that, which could technically still be true, and it likely is. But
all right, well, we got to stop this discussion because we're gonna have our own episode on that, and this could potentially go for like a half an hour. That's just a discussion on how Twin Galaxies operates.
All right, yeah, we'll keep it in the pocket, everyone, before we get too carried away.
Have you guys thought about getting a retainer from a lawyer before you make the episode? No, I'm kidding.
I tried. Who did I try to get to sue us? Randy Pitchford.
Oh, yeah.
And that bastard didn't do. Come at me, dude.
Wait, is he Magic Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dick Magic. Yeah.
That's the one.
Medieval Times flash drive guy.
Yikes.
For more on that, check out
our two-parter on Randy Pitchford.
There you go.
So what's up, guys? If you haven't already guessed, this is Hot Button, and we are back with part 2, the conclusion to our series on the various scandals and legal recourses surrounding the Starcraft and Starcraft 2 professional scenes. Last time we covered just a little bit of the history regarding the formation of esports' rise to popularity as a business itself, as well as was likely the biggest discovery of match fixing found in it yet. But did it stop there? Of course not. I'm Randall Beatrice, here today once again with Austin Blakesley.
Ayo.
Chris Anantuano.
Yo.
And special guest host of all things nefarious in the world of competitive gaming, Chris Neuteboom.
Hello.
Now, where we last left off, it seemed like a fairly dark moment for Korea here and video games in general, as I imagine.
One of the darkest in their history.
Damn it, Chris. I was going to make that same joke.
As I imagine the potential of what the esports industry could be was pretty tainted with the reveal of all those destroying the culture for personal gain.
Which Korea?
What?
Which
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Not best Korea.
Sorry, that was the only other joke I could think of. Chris stole my other joke.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I do want to mention, too, in the last episode, we talked a lot about the rise of esports and not necessarily focused a heap of attention on how they went about match fixing. Mm-hmm. And you ready for this hype promotion?
Ooh.
That's because it was in 2008. Nobody really knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this time, people broke this shit down. They got the insider scoop.
Yeah. You don't get one past the internet these days.
No, not at all. I hope everyone's familiar with that.
You got a whole lot of detectives, unemployed detectives with none better to do now.
Do you got your packet ready? I failed to point out in the last episode that I think you're the first person on here to not have electronic notes. But good old-fashioned paper.
Dude, I fuck better with the paper.
The
pen and paper.
Nobody's
That's not
hacking
the
you.
first. We used to do like a live comedy show some years back, and I always did it on my computer, and then we let my roommate do one, and he brought like a script, a stapled paper script.
You see, what would happen is if I was on here more regularly, I would immediately go to digital. 100%.
I like an iPad.
I was hoping you just have a sheet of Post-it notes.
Wasting a lot of paper. I do like it, though, because when you're reading off your script, it gives me a barometer for how far in we are and stuff, because you're just peeling the pages off and throwing them on the floor. So it's like...
Good. Realistically, we should probably be sharing a Google Doc when we do this.
Yeah, you'd think.
You could use a 1.5 font like I do, and then
I
you'd
know,
see
it
the
drives
whole
me nuts.
script at one time.
I'm at 14, baby.
Well,
I quadruple space everything and make the margins 5 inches.
You're not in college. You don't need, like...
It's like,
wait, I'm not getting
Austin, good episode, 500 pages.
I'm not getting paid by the page.
Well, I hope you guys know how bookies work.
I do, because you explained it to me
Oh, it's so
while you were
interesting.
doing research for this.
But
Yeah, get in it.
Yes, that's why I know too.
Of course.
Yeah,
you
me
explained
and
it to me.
Chris are, what were we experts in? In addition to Korean businessmen,
Yes.
we are also avid gamblers.
Yes.
But please explain it to Randy, because he's,
Hey, we won money.
not the sharpest bulb in the bunch or whatever.
We won money betting on the Oscars this year, Austin.
Yeah,
I
because
once-
of me.
Yeah.
And my expertise.
Oh, man. I once took a class on corporate social
It was my decision to
responsibility, so I
gamble on
consider myself-
Parasite, and it paid off.
I mean, doesn't seem much of a gamble to me, but
It
No,
was
it
a
shouldn't be a gamble.
because 1917 was heavily favored in that movie.
Fuck that movie. Parasite's awesome.
damn. Well, so we already discussed how match fixing that occurred in the Kespa-controlled Brood War scene.
Which
Yeah.
planet in Star Wars is that? I got him.
That's the one
Sorry,
with the
I've been waiting
Wookiees.
a week. I've been waiting a week and a half to make that joke.
Really?
So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Damn.
because I was like, what does Kespa remind me of? And then I was like, oh, it sounds like a Star Wars
Bespin?
planet. And then I locked that in up here. Could have been remembering so much more important shit this past week and a half, but no.
What is
it was
what's
worth it for
Chewbacca's
that moment
homeworld?
where only I laughed.
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk, there you go.
There's
yeah.
like 5 Ys in it.
Because she controlled Brood War scene.
I was thinking of Bespin.
Bespin.
That's what I
Was
said.
the one? Yeah. No, I wasn't listening.
Cloud City.
How all this really weakened Kespa's power when Blizzard was looking to really crack open the Korean scene. More importantly, Blizzard had other intentions in mind when they were picking a fight with Kespa. It pretty much guaranteed the success of the upcoming sequel to Brood War, StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty.
So I think this is around 2010 where we're at in the story? Yeah. Sons of Liberty came out in spring of 2011?
Wings of Liberty.
What did I say?
Sons of Liberty.
Oh, goddamn Metal Gear.
That's Metal Gear.
Oh, my God. Oh, great game.
Yeah.
They,
Great game.
They actually chose, there was some kind of, I don't think it couldn't have been BlizzCon, but it was like a regional event in Korea that might have been the qualifiers to BlizzCon at the time.
Okay.
They chose that as the stage to actually show off the trailer for StarCraft 2.
That's cool. That makes sense. I mean,
So
Blizzard definitely in it now.
This is really a story about how match fixing once again weakened the strength that, the once formidable Cabal, aka Kespa, how much they had in the industry, and it ultimately paved the way for a lot of other major esports leagues that run to this day. Because you got to remember where we were in 2010, right?
Yeah.
League of Legends was like a year out of beta. League of Legends came out in 2009. There was like 5 or 6 gaming leagues at the time that were internal. You had MLG, you had Cal or CPL, you had a few others. But now if you look at the scene now, it's so much more controlled by the companies that produce the games, right?
Yeah.
Riot has LCS, LPK, whatever, for like the different regions.
Dota's the Invitational, is that?
Yeah, Dota does the Invitational. You have...
Which they also have their own tournament thing to get invited to the Invitational.
Road to the Invitational.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? How original that Gabe Newell is, I swear.
Quick addendum also, just to keep everyone listening on track. This is early 2010-ish, I think.
Yeah.
StarCraft 2, apparently that hit the market later that summer. So that was 2010, not spring of 2011. Yeah.
But
I do remember. I was balls deep in Minecraft 2010.
That was 2010. Holy shit, Minecraft.
I think Minecraft
years
came out in 09.
What was I playing in 2010? Modern Warfare?
That would be
Modern Warfare. That would be
Black
War.
Ops, right? No, World of War was 08. Then Modern Warfare 2 was
Warfare
09.
2.
So this would be Black Ops was 2010.
No, but I would have been playing Modern Warfare 2 in 2010.
Me too. Yeah, you're right.
Because Black Ops came out at the end of 2010.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of update for everybody before we continue, speaking of Modern Warfare 2, I bought StarCraft Remastered. Hold
nice.
on, there will be a connection.
Okay.
Because I was telling Chris, I went to download StarCraft. Does not work on Windows 10, I don't think.
The original StarCraft?
Yeah. So then I just bought Remastered. I played through the campaign a little bit, but then when I was on the store for Blizzard, I also saw that Modern Warfare 2 Remastered was also on sale.
Oh, was it?
For like half off, so I bought that as well. I haven't played it yet, but that's what made me think to bring up the StarCraft thing.
Yeah, no, that's worth it.
I had the best Facebook status of my life when Modern Warfare 2 was out. Yeah, it was. It was. I don't know what's going to be lower this semester, my KDA or my GPA.
Nice.
That was just a solid joke.
That's quality, solid baseline comedy right there.
Right there, the fundamentals.
Just like right down the middle of the plate, not offensive to anybody.
Just some good Jeff Foxworthy humor.
Little niche for the gamers out there. Shout out.
It's funny because I
Shout out gamers.
I bought StarCraft 2 at launch. I don't know why I thought it was 2011.
Yeah.
I think that was the last physical box PC game I bought.
You're not buying Anthem, dude.
Oh. But yeah, so
I bought for those not paying attention, I bought 5 copies of Anthem.
It was for White Elephant, and they were $5 each.
I bought one for myself. They were $5 each. I bought one for myself, and then for our White Elephant thing that we do at the end of every year.
With a $25
limit, I bought 4 copies of Anthem and wrapped them. And then the one person participating in White Elephant that did not play a ton of games was the one that unwrapped 4 copies of Anthem, which was very hard to explain.
It got traded in the end.
It did.
it got stolen.
Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. You're good. So we really want to take a look at this as Blizzard versus Kespa a little bit prior to the StarCraft 2 release.
Yeah, this is pre.
This is pre-StarCraft 2 release. This is also the time that the match-fixing allegations came out. It was in the same time frame from the Brood War era. And in many ways...
The dust had not settled fully.
No, not at all. Not at all. In many ways, the Korean pro scene modeled what Blizzard was hoping for in StarCraft 2, right? They wanted to emulate that success globally, but it did not come without a fight. I mean, Blizzard understood like the power and the influence that the Korean scene had on the success of StarCraft Brood War.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with 2 being in development for so long and finally like ready to announce, that was a big deal. Yeah.
How long was 2 in development? Was it in development from the time that they stopped doing Warcraft 3?
They showed a lot of restraint in announcing it, but they were working on it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it had not been announced just yet, but there was a lot of behind-the-scenes work being done. Especially with getting this shit back on track again after the pro scene. What happened, you know.
I mean, actually, what do you know? In the script that I have in front of me, in the legal documents, the next thing that I have is during Blizzard's Korean regional qualifiers for BlizzCon 2007, this was the arena that they chose to unveil that new cinematic for StarCraft II Wings of Liberty.
Oh, fuck yeah, I remember this. The Games Press outlets went nuts. And
yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sequel to one of the, most highly rated, best-selling PC games of all time.
Yeah. And like you said, 2007, and I guess it was 3 years after this is...
This was really like the golden times for Blizzard as a company, right? Like World of Warcraft was booming.
Yeah. And they were also gearing for Diablo 3, which was post StarCraft 2, but that was also a huge deal.
They were also working on Titan.
Yeah.
You mean gold times opposed to all the lack of gold they have now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What, dude? You're not excited for Overwatch 2?
I completely forgot about Overwatch 2 until Randy said something about it the other day. I was like, wait, I forgot about that.
The fact that they're calling that too. And the worst part is I know I'm still going to buy it and play it a lot, but...
Hey, as long as they have all the Winston skins, I'm in. But yeah, around this time, Blizzard also took notice to a very big thing that Kespa was doing.
Oh?
Yeah.
Was it criminal? By chance?
Well... Kespa didn't think so.
Okay.
They were charging for broadcasting rights.
I trust their judgment.
You trust the Kespa's judgment?
Yeah, they seem like real upstanding citizens.
Yeah. Well, they were making money off StarCraft, which wasn't a property that they owned.
Mm-hmm.
And according to a letter on the May 27th of 2010 by Mike Morhaime to the Korean esports fans, according to this letter, they, as in Blizzard, began talks with Kespa in good faith so we could find a way to protect our intellectual property rights as well as help esports to grow further. And
sounds about right.
These negotiations apparently happened for 3 years until Blizzard, gearing up for the release of StarCraft 2, started to take over. And Blizzard would begin actually giving out beta keys to different regions leading up to the early 2010 planned beta release.
I'm just curious. Did anyone get in?
I did not.
I did not either.
Actually, I do know someone that got in.
Oh, yeah?
My college housemate.
Ah, right on.
Shout out to Chad Denobi.
I know Chad.
Yeah, I know Chad, too. Did you get to, watch him play it, or?
Yeah.
No shit.
I think a few people I went to college with had it, and I really, really, really wanted to get into the beta. And then finally... they were just like, just play on my account. I played 2 games, then I just waited for it to come out.
That's fair.
Yeah, for Korea, Blizzard gave them the special treatment, but almost immediately you could tell that Kespa was not playing ball with them. Blizzard allowed PC bongs. Yeah, I know.
Nice, dude. It's like weed.
They gave PC bongs in South Korea. They allowed any customer to play the StarCraft 2 beta without using a key. So they assigned the key to the computers instead. That means that any player had the opportunity to experience the sequel to their favorite esports pastime. And this was around March of 2010.
I see.
And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, us in the States, we had to sign up for it and pray we got in.
Yep.
Yeah, because we don't have that kind of bong here.
No. The only ones we have, you have to light and choke it up,
Yeah, he's straight ripping, dude.
During this time, Mike Morhaime, the president of Blizzard, he actually visited Korea in late February, a few weeks before the PC Bong beta release, mainly for business, but he also had he scheduled a planned meeting with some of the Korean pro gamers and teams, and he was speaking directly with the teams about the upcoming release of StarCraft 2. And this is important because all the pro teams declined his invitation and didn't show up at all.
Really?
Yeah. He personally reached out to the teams, said, I'm here on business. I would like to talk to you guys about StarCraft 2. I want to make sure the hype gets going.
And they said no.
Why? Why would they say no? What do they stand to be foes with him?
Well,
or do you think Kespa told him to?
It's almost like no. Yeah, Blizzard didn't go through Kespa in order to arrange the event.
There you go.
Instead, they contacted the teams each individually. So right off the bat, Kespa sees this as a power move by Blizzard to downplay their legitimacy as a negotiations partner, as you can imagine. They put blame on, not following proper procedure. They put it on their American counterparts, and the two organizations continue to basically
not be able to work together.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's some shit already, and the fucking game's not even out yet.
I know. This is months leading up to it.
Yeah.
Kesper had effectively put Blizzard's back into a corner, and between you and me, I wouldn't want to fight against Activision.
No.
If you don't think Blizzard takes its IP rights seriously, you should really think again.
No. And to remember, we're still only a couple years after the merger in 2008 with Blizzard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild the lengths that Blizzard goes to.
Yeah. And speaking of, we do have a couple examples here of maybe why Blizzard would be so concerned for its intellectual property rights.
Yeah.
I don't know if...
Can you think of any reason why Blizzard would be so concerned for its IP rights?
The law. That's how the law works. You got to be concerned. Otherwise, people start calling tissues Kleenex, and then you lose your...
Yeah, they start calling gelatin Jello and bandages Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Q-tips, right? Is that another?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of any specific lawsuits that might have been going on at the time?
Within Blizzard?
Within the general public, and that Blizzard had going on.
Within the general public... I don't know of any Blizzard one. No.
Yeah, so our first example, this is July 14th, 2008, jumping back a little bit. MDY Industries, LLC versus Blizzard Entertainment Incorporated.
It was heard in federal courts.
Yeah.
Specifically in the U.S. District Court for the District of Arizona. Why they chose that, I don't really know.
Yeah.
It involved a man named Michael Donnelly, founder of MDY Industries. Now we know what the M and the D stands for. And actually the Y. Huh. Think about that. He created a software bot called Glider that played WoW characters for the users unattended. Anybody who played WoW back in the day knows about Glider because they sat near...
Was that a gold farming?
It was gold farming, it was leveling, and it was Battlegrounds rep grinding.
And it worked well, huh?
Very well.
Oof.
In fact, it was the bane of existence because... in PvP, if you ever went to Alterac Valley, there'd be at least 20 people sitting there, and they would just run around and jump, and it was WoW gliders.
That's how you know.
Oh my God, so that's why in the episode of South Park, there's just characters doing that? And that's a good attention to detail.
They would AFK, and because you would just gain honor from essentially sitting in the battleground, but they also did things like farming for mats and everything like that.
That's funny.
And
that's how you know a game's good when
bots come
people
out.
make programs to play it for them.
You should look into RuneScape.
Yeah. You know how such a big part of this game is doing literally nothing at all? Well, we made a computer do it for you, so now you can play a different game, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you value your time so much that you can't play a game that you enjoy, like that you want to have a program play your favorite game for you, that is just great. But in this case, MDY, they start, what is it called? Declaratory judgment that the Glider program did not infringe upon rights owned by Blizzard.
Yeah, and Blizzard basically contended in a counterclaim and a third-party complaint from the following 7 claims. Chris, if maybe you wanted to go into these a little.
Oh, baby. So...
Wait, hold on. So MDY sued Blizzard?
No. Blizzard was looking to shut down Glider.
Yeah.
So in return...
This was his way of biting back, yeah.
And they countersued under the idea that Glider did not infringe upon the rights that were owned by Blizzard because, in particular, I believe he said that each person who purchases a copy of a game has the right to the game.
Yeah.
So the right
this
to
was a
things
different
like source
time.
code, right?
Was Glider free?
No.
Okay.
He was making money off it.
Okay. I assume that is where Blizzard really wanted to throw down the hammer.
Yeah, that and the fact that it was destroying.
Oh, well, totally. I just more meant that's what they would use in a court of law.
Yeah.
Like once there's
I actually have
money. exchanging hands. Then
I'll be the first to admit I use Glider too.
You're gonna get dragged away in a van.
I know. I have a shaman named Crunchberry.
Cops just come crush.
We got him,
bursting
guys.
through the ceiling like that GIF where they just like fall into the house.
Oh, then they slip me in Austin a couple hundred.
My friend, or from some people I talked to that have used Glider.
Yeah, and my friend Chris Neuteboom.
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, it was on Matt's account. For those who don't know, Matt is my brother.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious, what part of WoW Classic do they re-release Glider and go back into a lawsuit against this guy?
That's a great.
That's coming in 2021.
Yeah, but they got countersued with a ton of different arguments: tortious interference with contract, contributory copyright infringement, which was eventually reversed in the appeal, vicarious copyright infringement, violation of the DMCA, which they actually partially awarded it in favor to MDY.
Oh, really? This is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act?
Yeah. If you check out the internet now, you can see everyone talking about DMCA strikes on their YouTube or Twitch channel. Yeah,
Yes.
Same thing, right?
Yeah. That's come up on here before, I think.
Also, trademark infringement, unfair competition, which they actually awarded in favor of MDY. And
That's surprising.
yeah, the law works in mysterious ways, and unjust enrichment.
So I'm assuming trademark. So they did trademark and copyright. I'm assuming copyright kind of got thrown out, and trademark was the one that they got him for.
Yeah.
Well, lower courts agreed with Blizzard that WoW purchasers were not legal owners of the game software, but instead licensees. And as licensees, players are required to make use of the software with the scope of the end-user license agreement.
Yeah, that's such bullshit, by the way. That's like...
Yep.
This is where Blizzard,
shit.
obviously, they had strict prohibited the use of bots or third-party software to modify the WoW experience, quote-unquote.
Like that. I was reading about that. No research here. This is just off the dome. But I was reading about how
many things have we
the
signed?
law was set up that, like... not just end-user license agreements, but even when you buy something without signing it, if you buy a DVD, you are licensing that DVD. They're just giving you a copy of it. You don't own the movie. Yeah. Not that they can really take it away, but...
Yeah.
Then why don't all those commercials say, like, you wouldn't license a movie?
You wouldn't vape a GameCube.
Well, that's the exact reason it's set up that way for movies, because if you bought the movie like you bought a car, you could sell it.
Yeah.
But you can't sell a DVD.
I mean, you can.
You can. You totally can.
You can wait.
But that is technically against the law. If you were to make... It is very weird. Like, if you sell your DVD to somebody for $5, you're transferring the license to them, same way you would transfer, like, the title to a car. But, like, if you copy the movie and then profit off of it, that's where the...
Right.
So if you burn copies on your CDRWs and you sell it to your friends for $5, going to jail, baby.
DVD-RWs, dude.
Yeah, it's more than just audio.
Edit it out in post, am I right? Yeah. Edit it out in post.
Gotta get that dual layer 9 gig, you know what I'm saying?
But at the same time, if you make a copy of a movie for yourself, 100% legal.
It's still within your license right. Yep.
That is why when you use emulator software, you have to download a copy of your own BIOS. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can use emulators by putting the original disc in.
It is also technically not illegal to use an emulator if you own a copy of the game.
Yes.
Well, it's not illegal to use an emulator at all.
Yeah, if you download a ROM and for whatever weird reason you get busted on it.
If you download a ROM, that's legal. If you download a ROM that you own a copy of the game,
yes.
I think that's also illegal, but because it's someone else's license, but if you were to buy one of those things where you could put an NES cartridge into a thing that hooks up to your computer and download the ROM off of the cartridge yourself, that is completely legal.
Yeah. Which some people still do just for preservation reasons, but I've always wondered...
maybe if I could plug in my DS and run it at 10,000 times the speed while I power level Pokemon, then I wouldn't have to download a ROM, but I can't do that.
Is there a version of the WoW thing but for Pokemon? Absolutely, dude.
Oh, yeah. There's bots that play every game.
But not to get too off topic, but I think this is an interesting question because this popped up in my head not that long ago when I borrowed your copy of Crash Team Racing Nitro Armed, whatever the hell the remake was Refueled for a party at my place before the world exploded. And
did you pay the licensing rights?
Well, here's the thing: upon boot
I was
up,
say, you didn't borrow it, you licensed it.
Yeah, I licensed it. I'm sorry, but upon and I don't know if you remember this, Austin. You put the disc in and post installation and downloading stuff.
You got to install, you got to download, then you got to agree to like 8 things, and then watch an unskippable cutscene.
There are like 56 pages of shit, and it's like I'm curious if once you buy a new physical game and break the seal, if you like don't agree to the terms of service, you can no longer like return that product. Like, what if you go back to GameStop and you're like, I don't agree to the terms.
I read through all the EULA, and I do not agree, sir. Give me my $60 back. And they'll just be like, fuck off, kid.
Yeah.
Do you have a receipt?
Like, do you want to pre-order Anthem? $5 down.
Oh my God.
Well, back in it, the MDY appealed the judgment against them on April 29th, 2009, and arguments were held by the U.S. Court of Appeals on June 7th, 2010.
This is the part.
So we're getting pretty close to the launch.
Yeah. This is the part where you guys edit in the cloud dreamy state. Like and you repeat back when I say, according to a letter on May 27th, 2010 by Mike Morheim to the Korean esports fans, we began talks with the KESPA in good faith so we could find a way to protect our intellectual property rights as well as hope to grow esports further.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, it was literally they were going to court in about a week and a half to talk about their intellectual property rights. When this was going into appeals.
I want to be on this journey.
Yeah, that's how the fucking legal system works, though. If you own intellectual property, you got to have lawyers on retainer. You got to defend that shit
all day.
Because it's like this weird, like owning an IP or owning a trademark or a copyright is like this weird contract where they're like, okay, you can make all the money off this, and we'll let you sue whoever you want, but you gotta sue them because if you don't. You let them make copies willy-nilly, then you lose your copyright.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about when you hear about bands, especially that have to go after people that they don't even want to go after.
Who did covers and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, eventually in the appellate courts, they reversed the contributory copyright infringement.
Saying a lot of big words over there, buddy.
Yeah, no. Just you wait.
You assault me like that again.
Some of us didn't get a lot of sleep or education in life.
Some of us had higher KDAs than GPAs.
Clearly.
Like my Duke guys. That's a pretty good one.
It's called a callback right there.
Oh, man. Well, they held up that MDY did violate the DMCA. There was also a tortious interference with contract.
There he goes again.
Long story short, the district court, the appellate court sent it back down to the district courts. I'm not going to chance myself here by reading off why, but essentially it was an all-in-one package. It was a summary judgment, and without all of them involved, this like falls off. So they're like straight back down in the lower courts. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Some old guy was like, video games up here in these courts.
Is he smoking a cigar at the same time?
Yeah.
My grandson plays those, so he'll be the judge now. And he just walks out with a little Fisher Price little Fisher Price gavel. Squeak, squeak.
All right, so if I'm reading this correctly, Pac-Man now owns half of Activision.
And Activision is also spelled with a backwards N now. Write that down.
And then we have our second example here. This is on April 12th, 2010. Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. versus Justin Marshall and John Does.
Dude, what a cool name.
Yeah.
It's John Doe.
Oh, is it really?
That's how you get multiple people involved in a lawsuit is you make it against John Doe, and if there's more than one, you make it against John Doe's.
Well...
John Doe's, not John Does.
Oh, why didn't it just... that's multiple people.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm an idiot. This is the problem with reading things.
You're good.
You're good. Rather than speaking them.
So, yeah, you got to level it out. He's saying appellate courts a lot.
Yeah,
and then you're
They could have.
You gotta balance it back out, dude.
Jane Doe and John Does. Well, here's the here's the problem. Here's the thing: is that in normally in almost any other topic, I would read that as John Doe, like multiple John Does. But the problem is we've had so many aliases and gamer tags throughout this fucking series here that like I just assumed that
thought he was French.
Well, no, I just assumed that was somebody whose name was John and their fucking Starcraft name was John.
Actually, in the legal system, when you're suing a gamer but they don't know that they don't want to show their name, they use a Noob Master 69. That's why they use that in Avengers. That's the Jane or John Doe of online handles.
Do you remember when South Park did their Scientology episode, and at the end they're just like, "Come sue us," and all the credits are just John Smith and Jane Smith?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, John Smith invented Mormonism. You're thinking of Mormonism.
No, I know it. I know what I was
maybe that's why they don't use John Smith and they use John Doe.
Maybe.
Wait, was it John Smith?
I think so. Yeah.
John Smith was the guy that founded Mormonism.
Yes.
Gold plate, God, all that crap.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Maybe I read this wrong. It might be Jose Smith. If I'm reading.
Oh my God!
All right, sorry.
And I've already hosted a topic with Russian names and Polish names, so.
And you're just like, oh yeah, you're like Gregor Blaginski. You're like, oh, no problem.
It's so weird because you were really good at pronouncing the Polish names.
Well, yeah, the inflection that I. Oh, was I?
No, that was sarcasm.
I was gonna say I don't remember.
Do you remember when the press?
There was the hatred one. I think
you passed me the paper at one point, and I was like, dude, I don't fucking know.
I just turned my screen, and
You're
I was
the one
just
that
like,
wrote an episode about Polish people.
Well, that's because you challenged me before it started that you could do it. And
I did it flawlessly. Listen to the tapes. They're all there. They're on the internet.
All right, Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
We'll grab the tapes. Don't worry.
Yeah, I read them on MAME
Back to boring ass lawsuits.
So what happened with this bullshit, Chris?
So Justin Marshall.
What John does to
What John does. Justin Marshall, aka USMC 23, as part of the StarCraft or StarCraft 2 pirate community, he created a crack client that would allow users to play the StarCraft 2 beta without having a beta key or paying for the game.
StarCraft, that's clever.
StarCraft,
that bastard.
Right? So what'd they hit him with? Boom.
Yeah.
Copyright infringement.
Yep.
Violation of DMCA.
Yep.
Breach of the StarCraft 2 beta test agreement and BattleNet terms of service use. Tortious interference with contract. And they took it behind closed doors, and Blizzard dropped the case a month later.
There you go.
AKA, they probably said just shut it down, and he said, "Yeah, I'm shutting it down."
The law office for Blizzard, they just have an intern or a paralegal in a copy room, just printing the same document with lines, and they just fill out the name and send it to everybody for everything at once.
Well, the next one actually happened a little bit earlier, but
this is in October of 2009. This is Blizzard Entertainment Inc. versus Allison Reeves, unless I'm pronouncing that wrong.
No, that is correct.
Okay.
Wasn't that the guy that was in Superman?
Shut up.
Sorry.
Here's our last example here.
I believe it's a woman, Allison Reeve.
Yeah, with a Y.
Yeah, no, but Christopher Reeves was Superman.
I know, I got it.
Yeah. Well, they sued. They sued this particular person for operating a private server for WoW. They hit this person with
that bastard.
Oh, terrible.
All criminals, all of them.
Yeah.
Every last one. Lock them up forever.
Bury them underneath them.
Yeah. How dare they?
They actually hit them with copyright claims and circumvented copyright protections against their systems. Unfair competition, amongst a few other claims.
What'd she do?
She failed to appear and didn't respond to the complaint.
Right on.
So, punk as shit.
Anybody know what happens when if you get sued and you don't show to court?
They burn your house down.
Close enough.
Yeah.
They don't just burn it; they take it first.
I know. Yeah.
So Blizzard awarded default judgment. This is on August 10th, 2010, for $88.6 million.
Yes.
In total.
Wait, for running a WoW server?
She didn't show to court.
I don't care.
The math that they used was so ass backwards.
Yeah.
So they used the retail price of current WoW.
That's where you start.
Then they used the active user base on the website for the private server, multiplied all that together, And then on top of that,
like $15 a month for however many
it's not that
months
far
per
off from when you
person
use
that was
it, like
using
when labels came after. Like
like when RIAA was like, well, everybody downloaded this song 1,000,000 times, but you had to buy the whole album from us, and also the album was like $28 retail, which was what everybody charges. So
you owed us. You owe us like
$6
So
trillion.
you, Jimmy, 12-year-old Jimmy, I need 14 billion.
You owe us more money than exists in the universe.
Yeah.
Great math there, losers.
Yeah. So this, like, to break this down, this was like 3,052,000 in discorded profits, and then almost 85,478,000 in statutory damages, and then just
because people weren't paying subs.
Just to add some pepper on top, this is 63,600 in lawyer or like attorney fees. Sorry.
Yeah. So Blizzard has had a long battle with people trying to profit on their own from their products, and a very successful one.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's just like, why would you let somebody else like?
And there's some specifics down to the dollar that I left out there, but
like, why would you make a system that would allow anybody else to sort of piggyback off someone else's success when they could just drain the economy for that money? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
The difference here was that Kespa wasn't a person trying to make a quick buck. Right? They're an association founded in 2000 after the approval of the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism.
They were also government-owned, but also Shadow Cabal-owned, right?
Yes, they're a government-sanctioned association.
Government-sanctioned and owned by, like, the Illuminati of Korea or whatever.
Oh, even better. They have affiliations with the Korean Olympic Committee.
Yeah.
That's like the definition of Illuminati.
Yeah. This is way big.
And the International Esports Federation.
It's funny because sports are not corrupt at all.
No.
But esports are. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works. Don't look into the Olympics or FIFA, anybody out there.
So Mike Moraim must have been channeling all those legal experiences when addressing Kespa in his open letter to Korean esports fans on May 27th of the same year. We got kind of a big quote here if you're ready to take this.
Is this just the whole letter?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to try and funnel my inner CEO voice.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah, this will make you on a corporate call.
For the last 3 years, we've tried very hard to have negotiations where we could correct a skewed situation and reach mutual understanding. However, during this process, what we learned was that Kespa did not recognize our IP rights, and that our suggestions, even up until this day, echoed unheard within Kespa and offered no solutions on their own. Furthermore, the Kespa office prevented pro game teams and pro gamers from contacting Blizzard by threatening disadvantages. Unlike the negative rumors you might have heard, Blizzard's intention towards esports is not to dominate it and create excessive profits from it. From the beginning of the negotiations up to now, the basic framework we have thought of is one where esports can continue to grow while we protect our IP rights. Ooh. With the release of Starcraft 2 Wings of Liberty TM approaching, we decided we could not delay any further in finding a trustworthy partner who respected our intellectual property rights, and decided it was time to find a new way altogether. As a result of that decision, we signed a contract with GOM TV, which we announced today, which gives them the exclusive rights to hold and broadcast Blizzard game tournaments in Korea. We have cooperated closely with GOM TV in the past and discovered in the process that they have very similar values and goals in esports. Also, we believe that GOM TV is a capable partner with whom we can not only advance esports in Korea, but in the entire world as well. We are very proud that StarCraft contributed greatly to Korea becoming a global forerunner in esports. We eagerly await the day when we can support pro gamers or GOM TV in their rights to cooperate with the other broadcasting companies in the world of esports. We will continue to do our best efforts for the development of esports. And to that end, we will greatly improve the quality of matches and add features that will create competitive factors for the enjoyment of the audience. As always, we are deeply thankful for your understanding and support, and we are always open to your thoughts and opinions.
Wow, it's like you don't have dyslexia at all.
Dude, it's brutal. I'm guessing on a few words there.
I'm getting a very Titanic-y vibe from this letter. Like they're trying a little hard.
Yeah, like maybe they weren't trying to profit off esports back then. But
that's changed. Is Mike Morhaime still around?
Yes.
Is he?
What does he do?
President and CEO of Blizzard.
Well, shit.
I'm looking at you,
He
Mike.
was the guy that got up on stage and addressed. I'm doing air quotes for people listening.
Okay.
Addressed
That
the
was
Hong
him.
Kong thing.
Yeah,
that was him.
that went well.
He's not the president of Blizzard anymore, actually.
No?
No? Did Jeff Kaplan defeat him in wrestling?
Jeff Kaplan patched himself into the president and CEO of Blizzard.
So then Kespa was asked about their opinion on the Blizzard GOM TV partnership agreement. They replied,
Well, time out. He is the bass player for the Blizzard metal band.
"What?
Yeah.
ETC?
This is yes.
Holy shit!"
Wait, the band's actually called ETC?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
called
No, you're
ETC,
right.
As in
He was
Elite Taran
Chieftain.
Chieftain.
Elite Taran Chieftain, which is a unlockable card. Well, it was in Hearthstone for a limited time during the beta and original
get
release.
a power cord card out of it.
Yes, you did. No way. It calls us
Morheim,
ETC.
I was wrong. Morheim stepped down on October 3rd, 2018, and was replaced by J. Allen Brack, who was the guy that made the statement about Hong Kong.
Okay, because I'm familiar with him. That's why.
Mike, you got to get back in the reins, bud. You got to take Bobby and his boys out.
Bobby Kotick?
Yeah, is he the president of Activision?
Yeah, he is
Yep.
the most overpaid CEO in games.
And just a real munchkin of a person. And that's not like a short joke. That's he's just like, his face is weird.
Is he short?
He does
No,
have a
I
bit
don't
of
think so.
most of his face is in the center of his head.
That's kind of what I was getting at. He looks photoshopped, but he's not.
He totally does.
That's the best way to
Just
put
like these devil horned Photoshop pictures that come up when you Google him.
it. Yeah.
Oh, here's somebody who photoshopped the robot devil from Futurama in the background.
That's
He
great.
sold his soul.
So Kespa, they replied just saying, "We will release an official statement through next week's press conference."
AKA, oh fuck, what just happened? This really came out of nowhere for them.
Yeah.
And a few days later, Kespa announces that now their main priority was to have a proper relationship with Blizzard before any negotiation rights about GOM TV would commence.
Yep.
This is just like a cultural thing through and through. You know, like when Blizzard went to Korea, they didn't go through Kespa to talk to the pro teams. Kespa took it as a slight. Now Blizzard just comes out with just plops it on the table. Just says, all right, yeah, we're going to give it to GOM TV.
GOM TV.
Didn't they already? Didn't GOM TV come up last time?
GOM TV, the difference between the two, when we talked about in the first episode, if Kespa is like Comcast or Cox or Verizon.
No, you made this analogy already.
Yeah, and GOM TV is like Twitch.
Yeah.
Yes, they did online streaming.
No,
Yeah,
it's Josh TV.
They had a deal.
Wait, was that it?
Justin.
Justin
damn
TV.
it.
You-
Yeah.
I think you said that last time too.
Da-
No, but
shit.
didn't GOM have a deal with StarCraft 1 as well? Or something?
They ran Warcraft tournaments. They may have run a few StarCraft tournaments, but now Blizzard was saying you have the sole rights. You have our blessing to only run whatever StarCraft tournament you want. Where, Kesper's kind of in this gray area, because they are technically the government plus shadowy organization. And they obviously knew they couldn't charge, but now the company who produces the game is saying you guys are illegitimate.
Right, but this is where the licensing thing came up, because Kespa still had the thing where you had to get a license, but
Yes.
then GOM owned the rights. But Kespa still had control because they gave out the licenses. So they're like, I'm gonna go play for GOM.
What
and
a
they're like,
tangled
no, you're
web.
not.
Yes.
It's like Tetris all over
Yeah.
again.
Basically, in the upcoming weeks after this whole thing happened, there was a lot of posturing from Kespa, OGN, NBC, some back and forth. But eventually, OGN did come to the table looking for a new league to broadcast, right?
Yeah.
So over the next few months, the battle wouldn't stop there and really continue between Kespa and Blizzard, while Kespa was dealing with, criminal charges against some of their best players, and Korean corporate interest was quickly fading.
Yeah.
Blizzard and GOM TV were gaining traction as some of the former pro gamers no longer associated with Kespa started to move towards StarCraft 2.
So speaking of, we now have the official full launch of StarCraft 2. Well, kinda. On July 27th, 2010, the first part of their planned trilogy, Wings of Liberty, was now on clients and shelves everywhere. Well, client, I guess I should say, with Battle.net. Yeah. It received extremely high praise, scoring a 93 on Metacritic.com, and went on to quickly sell over 3 million copies in its first month alone, making it the fastest selling RTS title ever. I don't think it's been dethroned yet. So real quick, before we move on further, what is everybody's experience with StarCraft 2? Or with Wings of Liberty, I should say, to begin with.
I played a lot of it for a week or so, and then gave up because I was bad at it. But I bought it on launch day because I like StarCraft 1 so much, and then I never bought Heart of the Swarm
Yes, that was
or the Protoss one. What was that called? Legacy of the Void.
Legacy of the Void. Yeah,
That's what it was.
I do remember that too.
I played it on opening day.
Yeah.
I did
remember
too.
that.
Yeah.
I still remember the default picture was a dude with like headphones or like earmuffs.
Yeah.
I think it's still the default picture. The interface looked different, but I remember playing my ranked matches. I got placed in like high gold, and then I immediately got ladder anxiety, and then I just started playing like
That's good off the bat,
single
though.
player.
Well, that's so I dove into the single player first, and then dabbled with the multiplayer a lot, but not in 1v1s. And I got into gold with an old friend of mine on 2v2s, which I know means nothing to people that play 1v1s, but I was very proud. And then, like you, I got all kinds of anxious about it, and then eventually we got raffle stomped, and it was over. It was a short time in the sun.
The minute you lose a game, you're like, it's over. The run. I was gonna get into Grandmaster. Yeah.
How about you there, Chris?
I don't remember if I played, probably not opening day, but I definitely played it within like a year or two and played it for a long time. I think that it's just one of the best map makers of any game ever. Like, it's very, very, very intuitive. Like, I was just messing with it the other day. It's so much fucking fun.
Yeah, I know you were playing it a bit recently too, but
yeah, this year with this probably March, the start of all this shit and quarantine started. Me and my roommate were playing doubles a bunch and getting back into it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Did you play through hard. It is. Did you play through the campaign of Wings of Liberty?
I probably got about 70% of the way through the regular campaign because that's free, and then you still have to pay for the other 2 or 3, however many they have now.
Yeah.
It's worth a playthrough.
Oh, absolutely. I played the campaign back in the day and beat it all the way when it came out. It's so much fun. It's such a well put together campaign. Like, even if I couldn't, like I said, we talked about last time jokingly, I couldn't tell you what the fuck is going on in the story or anything.
The story gets wild.
I'm just like, oh, cool, build some Hellions, burn down this village. It's like they have like there's a very cool mission very early on where you have to like, it's like essentially like you just go to a planet that's just like a bunch of Zerglings everywhere, and like they're like corrupting the civilians every night. So it's like a day-night cycle, and it's so much fun. It's like morning comes and you like build your base and go and burn down the buildings, and then night falls and you like have to defend this base like from like endless swarms of fucking enemies. It's so much fun.
It's cool because that's the thing. It's like primarily going forward, we're going to be specifically talking about its multiplayer, but it shouldn't be, understated how actually like cool and just clean and how well designed those campaigns are.
I must have played hundreds of hours of StarCraft in my life, and last week was the first time I ever touched a StarCraft campaign.
Really?
It's a shame because they're really fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, the multiplayer is incredibly fun. It's a whole nother animal, though.
I get it, though. It's like it's at the forefront of your purchase to like engage in multiplayer.
Yeah.
But
what they do with StarCraft 2, in my opinion, is kind of the right way to do it. They allowed a lot of customization in the single player, but for the multiplayer, for rank matches, it was, this is what is official.
Yeah.
So like in the single player, you could get like some sweet upgrades.
Oh, totally. It does
there's medics in single player and shit like that.
It does tutorialize some of the PvP stuff well, though. But even though it is a different thing, it's almost like it's a double package of a product for sure.
I remember going on opening day and naturally Googling whatever the meta strategy was for Protoss, which was like the cheesiest build of all time. It was like this 2 or 4 gate like all in.
That's how you got in gold.
That's how you do it. Yeah. No, legitimately, I didn't know what I was doing.
No, it's
like 100%.
It's shameless,
and no one else did. Except
of course not.
The only advantage I had was like, it's like, okay, once you have 12 workers, build this. And I'm just like, okay, I can follow this.
Multiplayer games at launch is so fun before people have figured it all out.
Yeah. Like when you're constructing the meta as opposed to just like trying to reenactment. Yeah. But
yeah, it's like when you play Gears of War and you're like chainsawing people in half and you're like, this game rules. And then you go back 2 weeks later and everybody just has shotguns.
Everyone's got shotguns. They're bouncing off walls.
Yeah,
left and right. It looks like a pinball machine.
Sliding like a pinball machine around the map. And you just can't spawn because everybody's just like.
Yeah, it's like playing if you ever played a Call of Duty game when they first came out and nobody knows the maps yet, and and most of those games is just knowing where spawns are and stuff like that. It's just like, but like you play it at midnight or whatever, and it's just like this giant clusterfuck of nobody knowing how to be the best yet.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Super fun.
Well, only a month later, GOM.TV actually came out and created the GSL, or the Global Starcraft League.
Yeah, they wasted no time.
No time. It featured 600 million won, or about $492,000 US dollars as a prize pool. And if you want to talk about like an absolute Chad lineup, the first season of GSL was held with open qualifiers. So 2,000 people entered with an unprecedented 100 non-Koreans.
How they do?
Actually.
Okay.
One actually did really, really well. But you had people like Idra. He's probably more infamously known because he played a match where someone used a spell that was called like hallucination, where it created fake units that did no damage, but they looked like they were real.
Dirty.
And he cast it on like some of his units, like Colossi. He was playing as Protoss. And upon seeing them, he thought they were real and he just GG'd out of the game. Yeah.
That's so good.
He's done recent interviews. Surprisingly enough, he's actually, from the interview at least that I watched, he wasn't really a gamer to begin with. He just played StarCraft. He played a lot in Brood War. He was probably one of the best. But that
was his world, not like
that was his. Well, after he left StarCraft altogether, I think he's actually like back in grad school. So kudos to him.
Oh,
yeah. You had people like Beyond TLO, or the little one, who was probably one of the most famous at the release of StarCraft 2. You have MC, a.k.a. Boss Toss.
Boss Toss.
What a nickname. You have Pol.
Is that the leader of the Gungans in episode 1? No, I'm kidding. It's Boss. No. It's Boss Nos.
We're not talking about the StarCraft movies. We're talking about the StarCraft video game.
Yeah.
Let's not go down the rabbit hole of the Gungans again.
Is that the guy that lived on Kespa? Callback. Continue.
You had people like Nest T, Maru, and
That's
then
a great name.
Nest T.
Yeah.
That is a good name. Better than Polt.
Better than Polt. What about Fruit Dealer?
Fruit Dealer's all right.
If you want to talk about like a story that tugged on the heartstrings, Fruit Dealer.
Yeah.
He literally dealt fruit out of a fruit stall.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. I think one of his parents were sick.
I didn't know that was literal.
So he did that to support them, and then he just kind of came out of nowhere and was like, "I'm pretty good at StarCraft," and gave it a shot.
That's
and
very wholesome.
Really, really, really good. But probably the most notable of them all, or at least us foreigners, was the return of the iconic commentary duo Tasteosis. Tasteosis to the English desk.
Tasteosis.
They're great. They're absolutely phenomenal.
Nice.
This didn't sit well.
Me and Austin have watched enough Smash stuff to know how important commentaries are.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
T1 and EE.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Or
EE.
TK.
TK Breezy.
TK Breezy.
The Black Plague.
Call that boy. What do you say?
Call that boy a hippo because he hungry.
So good.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So all this did not sit well with Kespa, who all but effectively banned any players on their Kespa teams. Because you remember, the teams weren't organizations. The teams were essentially extensions of sponsorships from major companies.
Right. Yeah.
So they banned all their players that were on these Kespa teams from transitioning from televised broadcasts of Brood War to StarCraft 2.
Huh.
Yeah. So with all this happening, these preliminaries, they were held on August 28th and 29th.
Yeah.
And while
not that far after launch.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And while I can't find any evidence to prove this had an effect, on August 31st, the man, the myth, the legend, the absolute GOAT was already making his move, ending his contract with his former team, SKT.
Who came up in the last episode.
Yes. My man. Lim Hyo Hwan, a.k.a. the Terran Emperor, a.k.a. Slayer's Boxer, began to make his move towards SE2.
Was he one of the people that got in trouble?
No.
Okay.
No. The Brood War God, known for his creativity like proxy barracks, innovating rush strategies, popularizing Terran dropship play, which is for anybody who's up to date on it, that's like pretty standard. And
I've done it.
Yeah.
No shame.
You got it. What you do? You drop you drop siege tanks in the high ground.
Yep.
And he chose a lot of strategies based on units that no one thought were viable, like ghosts. Ghosts were sniper units, but they had
they could cloak.
They had snipe, cloak, an EMP, and tactical nukes.
Yes, they're real good. And this dude was voted the greatest gamer of all time in 2004 by ES Reality and included MTV's 2006 The 10 Most Influential Video Gamers of All Time, which now I'm curious who else is on that list.
You guys keep posting.
How is Ninja not the greatest
God,
gamer
You guys
of
keep
all time?
posting.
What are
I'll
you
Google
talking
it.
about?
In 2000,
It was a different era.
when did Halo 2 come out?
2004.
Then Ninja...
Would have been Walshy, T squared.
Greatest gamer of all time.
the Ogre Brothers.
What a title.
But yeah, now, like...
Kevin
Ninja might have been
DDR is
around.
the best. The best
Kevin
video.
DDR?
Yep. Best
He
video-
responded to my Reddit comment.
No shit.
He did. I congratulated on him, and he said, "Thanks, man." I said, "You're a big inspiration
He's a
in like
god.
running Tetris." He's an absolute god.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah. So you had the 2-time Star League champion, 2-time WCG champion, KPGA Tour champ, and the former captain of SK Telecom One, a team originally built around him for players that he handpicked.
Yeah.
He was the first superstar of the Korean Starcraft scene. He just left Caspa like it was nothing, and the legend was about to grow even larger. He made his transition public about a month later, just before GSL Season 2 qualifiers were about to begin. You got to remember that these leagues, there was actually recently, I think, it's real weird how they do the naming of them, but in between these seasons, there's about 3 weeks. 3-4 weeks.
Oh, that's actually a better list than I thought it would be.
No, yeah.
So it's not like esports players. It's just gamers. So it's
Okay.
Mike and Jerry from Penny Arcade.
Okay. Yeah, the importance of things like PAX, that makes sense.
Adam Clayton.
Who's that?
The guy who won American Idol?
No.
That's Clay Aiken. Oh, wait, he didn't win.
I thought you were talking about Adam Lambert. I got fucking...
I got a different list. This says that this League of Legends player is the greatest gamer of all time.
He
Faker?
coined the term Easter
Yeah.
egg. Your boy Billy Mitchell.
God damn it. There's no escape.
None.
Alan Grafe.
Tell us that the Todd Raj is on there, dude.
Some guy who had something to do with Second Life.
Can't dodge the Raj. I can't dodge the Raj, dude.
Imyo Hwan.
That's Boxer.
Yeah.
That's Slayer's Boxer.
Yeah, there you go.
Boxer's on my list, too.
Minley and Jesse Cliff, the modders behind Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well earned.
Patrick Wildenborg, the guy that modded Hot Coffee back in...
Oh my God.
From,
Yeah,
our
I was like,
second
why does that
episode?
name sound so familiar?
And then
A title he probably doesn't even want.
Peter Ludlow, who...
So it's just
I'm
Peter
reading this.
Molyneux under a different name.
No. TSO. He ran a newspaper in The Sims Online.
Well, I guess
For
that-
more on The Sims, check
What are we
out...
talking about?
Yeah. Back to Slayer's Boxer. Back to Slayer's Boxer. Yeah, no, so he made this public announcement, and he was promptly given his BattleNet ID back, Slayer's Boxer, and he was awarded with the distinction of StarCraft 1 Legend, listed on his pre-match achievement list.
Damn, man. What the, like that's...
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You're going in a game, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rank up today, and you play against some dude, and you're just, it also says StarCraft 1 Legend, you just go,
Yeah, I'm done.
According-
just concede.
Fuck this.
According to the same blog, by the way, the best game of all time is Sensible World of Soccer. So,
Well, credibility gone, so...
Yeah, so yeah. At the time, though, like Boxer's move to StarCraft 2 was actually filmed. It was filmed by a South Korean broadcasting company in a 2-episode series titled Boxer's Wings, which you can still watch.
I saw this in here. I was going to ask if this was out there.
It is.
Like,
It is. It's the first time people actually knew about his relationship with South Korean actress and his future wife,
no way.
Kim Ja-yeon.
I wonder what she was in.
I think she... I don't want to preemptively say it, but like my gut instinct says like Korean dramas. Like, yeah.
Okay.
K-dramas.
Hey,
Hugely
there's
popular.
some fucking great movies that come out of Korea.
Like
I mean, we referenced Parasite earlier, but...
yeah, like Korean TV loves dramas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
aren't
that's
they
true.
like soap operas kind of?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a bit,
Pretty
yeah.
much. Apparently, they actually met during a Brood War match in 2008. Where,
Yeah, this dude's been... Oh, no, wait, no, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it said on Wikipedia this dude was married 3 times, and I was like, yo, player. But it's not true.
for Boxer?
Yeah.
Oh, he said it wasn't true, so...
Yeah, now. Technically, he was married twice.
Oh, okay.
Technically. And we'll get to that
Okay.
as to why.
I was say one of these I see is in secret.
Actually, maybe he was married 3 times. Anyway, they met during a Brood War match in 2008 where Boxer reportedly beat her by mercilessly nuking her base until he finally destroyed all of her buildings.
How romantic.
Yeah, because of that, they kept the relationship secret.
Love it, first nuke.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, God. They had to keep
explaining how you and your significant other met.
Yeah, I got absolutely destroyed by him playing a video game. But that's how popular it was. You had like literal
no mercy,
like actors and actresses that were involved in this,
for
right?
sure.
And they had to keep their relationship secret for 2 years until the 2-episode series came out, where they married in secret in 2011 and eventually married publicly in 2016.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why it's listed 3 times on Wikipedia.
Well, I think he may have been married before, but don't quote me on that.
No, it's the same woman.
Oh, then yeah.
But just 3 times.
Yeah.
And it was very confusing, but that makes a lot of sense.
They had to keep it secret at the time.
Is that because StarCraft players are like priests, where they have to be celibate?
Quite the opposite. Think like StarCraft players were looked at by the...
They're like major athletes. Sorry.
Now they are.
Yeah.
But even back then, people were trying to legitimize it, which is why the match-fixing scandals hit so deep. Because at the time, they were looked at like... It's like, oh, you're going to play some StarCraft, huh? And they're just like, yeah, Pop. I got my pro gamer license. And he's like, it's great. And then it's like,
some hair tussling going on.
Once you get done your military service, you're going to quit the kiddie business and get a real fucking job, right? That's like essentially how it was treated.
That sounds like America, too.
Yeah, pretty much. But with the success of this 2-episode series, over 750,000 people tuned in for Boxer's return in the round of 64 against Happiness, causing GOM.TV and other websites to actually crash.
Just to prove once more how huge of a thing this really is in Korea.
Yeah. He created the Slayer's house, which is very, very big. He like handpicked a lot of people, and like his protege became very popular in the scene as well. And he really, really like, I believe the entire house was actually bankrolled by his wife. Deadass, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, she owns his pro team.
Oh yeah,
So he's got that acting money.
So back to the action though. Enough about Slayer's Boxer, even though I love him to death. Subsequently, Kespa continued overseeing Brood War events in South Korea for the next 2 years. While, on the other hand, GOM.TV organized and broadcasted the main Korean StarCraft 2 individual and team leagues. Later that year, in November 2010, Blizzard issues statements that they want to have their IP rights properly addressed and licensed.
I was waiting for that, yeah.
Blizzard demands that Kespa agree to their original demands, where Blizzard owns 100% of the rights.
Sounds about right.
Kespa still hosted the 2009-2010 Shinhan Bank Pro League, another one of those cabal organizations, which started on October 2009 and ended in August of 2010. Then again with the 2010-2011 Shinhan Bank Pro League from October 2010 to August 2011. And during this time in May of 2011, Blizzard acknowledged Kespa's pro gaming teams, NBC and OGN, allowing them to run Brood War tournaments and have the ownership rights to derivative works. So... Teams can sell jerseys and make money, but they can't sell a jersey with a Terrence, siege tank on it.
Or the Blizzard logo. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
In return, they all pay Blizzard a licensing fee for the use of the game, as well as place Blizzard's logo during the tournaments.
So, do other professional PvP games still work the same as this? Or
that's why a lot of them brought them in-house.
Okay.
Yeah. When it's your own studio, you can do whatever you want, right?
All right, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. This is the first time that you had a third-party organization be as big and solely dedicated to one game. Like MLG was like a collaboration of different scenes that kept it alive.
Sure.
This was just StarCraft. That's it.
Yeah.
Probably the only I don't think they have that in America, do we? It's either like ESL or it's owned by the company.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even then the teams are individually owned. It's not a third party owning the rights to the teams and then playing another company's game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
Comcast owns an Overwatch team. We brought that up last time.
Is it the Philadelphia Fusions?
The Philadelphia Shitty Routers.
Yeah, the
Philadelphia Shitty Routers.
Careful, Chris. Don't stare at the tower. It's looking.
It's a bit cloudy today, thankfully.
But it's still glowing behind there.
Still searching.
Yeah.
Still searching.
I don't want to think about it.
It's getting ready to throttle you any minute. But yeah, so by the end of 2011, around November, 3 major teams had already disbanded. NBC Game Hero, We Made, Fox. It's so weird how they make this. NBC Game Hero, it's NBC Game Space Hero. Then it's We Made Space Fox. It's like...
Yeah,
and then, of course, there's Hwasong Oz. Yeah. Out of nowhere. By February of 2012, the NBC Game Channel, they just stopped broadcasting altogether and they reorganized themselves, geared way more towards K-pop and music videos.
Ain't that the way?
They're like, we want no part of this.
Yeah.
We want absolutely no part of this. Eventually, Kespa really had no other option here. They had waning viewership and need for more money, and yeah, they were dying off to the ever-increasing popularity and accessibility of StarCraft 2.
Now the K-pop fans are...
they're coming back.
They're working with Anonymous. It's wild world we live in. Huh?
Are they trying to take down Joji?
No, they're trying to take down the police.
Yeah.
Much more important thing.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, people are saying K-pop is like the new punk now.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, Bubble Pop's a great song.
Like the K-pop stans and Anonymous are teaming up to take on racial injustice.
I'm all about it.
Well, news to me.
Which is just the best.
Yep.
So, yeah, Kespa was really just dying off at this point. By March of 2012, there were reports that Kespa was in discussion with Blizzard to acquire the rights to broadcast StarCraft 2 events. Literally a week later, the Esports Federation is unveiled, originally comprised of non-Kespa teams.
Yeah, there were 9 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like Kespa is trying to negotiate with Blizzard so that way they can get in the ring with StarCraft 2. And at the same time, all the non-Kespa teams form together because they're like, we don't stand a chance. Like, we can't get a seat at the table broken apart, so we need to all come together. Beginning of May 2012, Blizzard, Kespa, OGN, and GOM TV, they held a conference meant to describe the transition process by which the Kespa teams would switch to StarCraft 2. So Kespa had officially recognized StarCraft 2 as the official discipline and scheduled the next Pro League to feature both Brood War and StarCraft 2. So the best way I could describe this is the games were fundamentally different.
Oh, yeah, it's like Melee and New Smash, yeah.
Yeah. Melee and Brawl.
Well, Brawl, we don't know.
Yeah.
There's
And
tripping in StarCraft 2?
no, dude, everyone just plays Meta Knight.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of the Kespa teams, like if they wanted to transition to StarCraft 2, it wasn't like a seamless transition, right? Like they would have to like take time out of the day to practice StarCraft 2, learn it, and like really get caught up to speed essentially. And the Kespa teams were not allowing it. Like I think we talked about it before. There's the notorious nature of like how these guys like practiced. A lot of the team managers, they weren't like sports psychologists. They were just people who played the game. So the idea was like you had your star players, right? You had your people on your roster, and then you had the practice squad. And what happened was the practice squad went up against the good players for like 10 hours a day. So if you're on the practice squad, the only thing you could guarantee is getting your ass handed to you for 10 hours a day.
That's your job, yeah.
And your goal was to emulate the play style of the people that they were going to play. So you weren't even playing your own game. Like, and to get promoted from the practice squad to the main squad, it was essentially like the coaches, if they were like, yeah, I like this guy, you could go around and listen to interviews at the time, but like, yeah, we got this up and coming guy. And what they always used to quote is, he's so invested in the game, he's playing 12 hours a day.
Yeah. There's so many personal politics already.
Personal politics, yeah.
Very much so. So it was absolutely just like a shit show. But yeah, Kespa had finally said, okay, StarCraft 2 is what we need to transition to. It is the future. It also gave Kespa the license to hold team events for StarCraft 2, and OGN were given the license to hold and broadcast individual level StarCraft 2 leagues. So by August of 2012, Kespa reached this agreement with the Esports Federation as well, setting a 13-month trade lock period. No Kespa players could be traded to non-Kespa teams and vice versa. It was for the better, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me on that one, yeah. Like, both sides were afraid of people fleeing from the other side, and they didn't want, like, StarCraft was built around the players and highlighting the players as, like, the commodity, right? So when you have people that are just constantly fleeing, it's hard to build up hype over time for these players.
Yeah, it's still a spectator sport.
Yeah, and they just really didn't want that level of, like, it's always funny, like, the Korean pro gamer names, they're always like one syllable words. I don't know why, but it's like you pick a one-syllable word, guarantee a pro gamer name. Life,
frog.
love. What's up?
Frog.
Come. Coming up next in our team league is come.
Fruitcaki.
No, more than one syllable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
3 times as many, some would say.
I think jizz would work better than cum.
oh,
Jizz is music from Star Wars.
It is. Yeah. The
Jizz Whizzlers?
Jizz Whiz.
What?
They're called Jizz Whalers, dude.
Jizz Whalers. Yeah, the music that they're playing in Katina and New Hope is...
Because George Lucas, in his infinite wisdom, thought that the future of jazz was to change the vowel to an I and call it jizz.
To an I?
Why do you just call it Juzz, dude?
That's the most Star Wars thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Jizz Whalers.
And they had the Jizz Whalers, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, solid choice. I'm all about it.
I'm all about it, too. Love it. So, after all this stuff happened, I guess Kespa couldn't take that one lying down because later that month, August 23rd, Kespa decided to not allow its players to compete in the 2012 GSL Season 4, which was set to begin a few days later on the 27th. So, part of this, too, is that you would have Kespa teams, they would allow their players to individually compete in other tournaments, and then they just said, nah, not happening. And they stated issues with concerns over scheduling conflicts and the health and safety of their players. These are the guys that they have practicing 12 hours a day.
I was gonna say, I was about to ask what does that mean, but then it's just fatigue, probably.
Just blanket corporate terms and lies and stuff. Scheduling conflicts and health and safety.
Well, yeah, I mean that term is
Yeah. So the next day, the Esports Federation they pulled their support for the upcoming OGN Star League, which was happening on August 28th. And they put their support behind GOM TV's the 2012 GSL Season 4. So what's the difference between all this shit, right? So GSL was open qualifiers and anyone can enter, right? Which is why they said Kespa players would be allowed to enter.
right.
And OSL, or the On Game Net Star League, was billed as the best players that Kespa had. And in particular, they were going to have the best Esports Federation players play against them.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost like best contracted versus non-contracted.
Okay.
Like a better version of pros versus Joes, except
still
the Joes
sounds
are
exciting.
still probably better.
It's like when in hockey they do like the Phantoms versus the Flyers.
Yes, they're both just like leagues better than everybody else.
For those not from the Philadelphia area, well, you're not going to know hockey anyway, but the AHL versus the NHL.
Damn. Well,
I'm sure they do that in other sports, but other sports are dumb.
yeah, if they have a farm league, or some kind of
they
system.
do that a lot in baseball.
Yeah.
Football doesn't have minor leagues because it's like so many more concussions that they have to worry about. But
Yeah, no, they want them
You
young.
mean so many more concussions they don't have to worry about.
sure, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Well, after all this, Kespa backed down, saying that they would let their players enter the GSL Open qualifiers, starting with the season after the one that was about to begin.
Of course.
Not a few days away. They have to wait like 2 months or so.
Season 5.
ESL fired back and said that wasn't good enough, and then they doubled down.
Great.
And by the time GSL Season 4, August 27th, the dispute was finally settled as Kespa bowed down and allowed its players to attend GSL Season 4, which was postponed a few days to make accommodations for them. And GOM TV sent players to OSL as well.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of that back and forth trying to keep control of what's happening and keeping the scene together until it doesn't.
And this is where Kespa kind of began to lose control, right?
Yeah. You kind of have these dual leagues that are running at the same time, and eventually by 2012, the Kespa sponsor one just couldn't get the same traction that GOM TV events were drawing.
Yeah.
And then the biggest hammer that fell to date is probably in April of 2013, where Blizzard introduced the WCS in an effort to promote the highest levels of professional StarCraft 2 competition.
Only the best.
Yeah. So WCS, they basically stole the GOM TV Star League, how they operated it. I have here Inspired, but they basically stole it, where seasons would run over multiple months. These new leagues would be played under the name WCS Premier League with a lower tier named WCS Challenger, which is analogous to GSL's Code S and Code A, respectively.
Okay.
The Korean StarCraft 2 leagues, they were included in this transition and came under the WCS banner, with WCS points being given out alongside prize money to decide who would qualify for the global finals. But Blizzard, in all of their wizardly fucking powers, also made a WCS league for America, Europe, and Korea, but didn't have the forethought to make it region locked. So you have dominant Koreans, essentially, they've been playing StarCraft 1 for 10 years?
If not longer.
They come over and they just literally annihilate almost every tournament.
It's funny hearing you bring this up when you consider what was also done years later with the Overwatch League that we mentioned in the last episode, and a little bit in this one with their city teams and stuff.
Yeah, like region locking was just... They eventually introduced it, but...
So what happened to the follow-up of the 2013 Hot 6 Global StarCraft League Season 1, Season 2? I don't...
Yeah, no, it was just called the 2013 WCS Season 1 Korea GSL.
Okay.
All these tournaments that had, like, the corporate sponsorships, they just essentially transitioned to WCS Season whatever, Korea. Oh. Yeah, so like OSL Season 2 now is the 2013 WCS Season 2 Korea OSL. After Season 1, OGN just disbanded it. Just disbanded it, yeah. On GameNet, one of the broadcasters, the TNT of the USA Network. I guess both of them are out now.
Yeah.
Right. So for the next few years, KESPA, IEG, who held the broadcasting rights, they continued its pro league with a new broadcaster, now that OGN was out of the business and so was NBC, called Spot TV, or SPO TV Games.
Okay, I was, because I read that as Spot TV as well.
Spot TV too, right? Yeah. SPO TV, yeah. During the whole...
Or Spot V.
Spot V too.
Spot V.
That's what we're going to call it from here on out.
It's easier.
So during the whole 2013 WCS Season 2 Korea OSL, they were already splitting broadcasting rights among, OGN and SPO TV. And during that time, it was considered the premier event with the best talent still, despite a lot of the non-KESPA players traveling the world and effectively shattering anyone who stood in their way. So, like, the KESPA team players were generally considered of a higher caliber.
Sure.
But you could tell things were really getting dire as the end of the sponsorship leagues was ending. From 2011 onwards, all pro leagues were actually sponsored by either SK Planet or SK Telecom themselves, who, if you remember, had a controlling stake in the KESPA board.
Yeah.
So they couldn't find anybody else to do it, so the president was like, my company. We'll keep this alive. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
During the 2012-2013 SK Planet Pro League, they even had the first foreign team competing. Team EG-Liquid.
Yep. Who also came up.
Team Evil Geniuses,
Part
who
1.
Been around for a while, and Team Liquid. Mm-hmm. They combined together.
Tons of games.
To send their best players who were decimated, utterly destroyed in the leagues. And the hype actually quickly...
And somehow, even though they came together, their name got worse.
EG-Liquid? Yeah. The hype for all this stuff quickly died as the players like Flash all killed their team and eventually resulted in a 7-14 record overall for the season. They finished last place, and the 2014 Pro League didn't have any foreign teams.
So this might be a bit of a backtrack, but how did teams work?
So
like NASCAR?
Austin, it's when a couple of people get together to play the same game together. Okay?
It's like crew battles.
And then
It's the NASCAR comparison actually isn't that wildly off.
How did team leagues work, or how did teams work?
So when you say team, when you say like EG Liquid sent over their best players, were they playing teams, or was it a team of people to play single player?
It was
1v1s.
It was a team league, so they sent over their 5 best people, and it worked like crew battles in Smash. They would send 1v1. The winner got to keep going on, and you just kept knocking out players in the thing.
So you're second.
Yeah.
Right. So kind of like NASCAR.
Yeah, sort of. So now that the stage is all set for Prime Crimes, what do you say we get into what we all came here for? Some good old-fashioned match fixing.
Oh, yeah.
Crime Live.
Here we are, 2015, specifically January 20th of 2015, where Pinnacle Sports, the world's largest and most reputable esports bookmaker at the time, released a statement about voiding all bets on the 2015 Pro League Round 1 between San from StarTale and Dark from SK Telecom 1 due to suspected manipulation.
Yeah, I definitely recall when when this news hit. Also, I should say by this time, the second expansion, Heart of the Swarm, was long out. And the last one, Legacy of the Void, that Austin you brought up earlier, was due out before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just the start of what was about to come. So there's another Team Liquid user, Swoopay. I apologize.
I read that as Swoopy.
Swoopy? That's probably
I think it is Swoopay.
You got John Does, I got Swoopy. Or Swoopay. Who originally notified Kespa and Pinnacle Sports about uncommon movements in the line to downright impressive levels of detail about why this was unusual.
Yeah. Which kind of calls back to our cold open about the...
Yeah. He talks a lot about bookies, how they actually make money by, balancing the books and taking a vig. So, like, how each bet changes a line, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating when you think about the amount of work and level of monitoring you need to bypass observations like these.
Yeah.
And non-esports are exactly the same, I assume.
So, what we were talking about way earlier in the opening was, like, how do bookies actually make money? Like, how do they work, right?
Yeah.
A bookie's job is very, very simple. I already said it. They balance the books. So a bookie's job is to make money off a percentage commission, but they want equal bets on both sides. So you want...
It's not exciting otherwise, I guess.
Yeah. No. Well...
It's not profitable.
It's not profitable.
Yeah.
If you have $1,000 in total bets on, player number 1, you want 1,000 in player number 2.
Yeah.
That way...
There's no payout.
You could cover your payout.
Yeah.
Literally. So, like, lines adjust as people make bets.
Right.
Right? So, like... If you have one player that's heavily dominated, that's why the payout is like, oh, you bet $100, you make a cent. It's because so many people have bet on him. That's what the odds have gone.
Oh, for sure. We found that out betting on the Oscars.
Right? And
I'm an expert on betting. I know all this already, but just so
Randy knows.
So continue, so Randy knows.
Yeah. And so they just want to take a percentage cut from both sides that are betting. That's it. They have no vested interest in, who wins. It's just about making sure that they always make money.
Of course.
And Pinnacle Sports, to their credit, must have started to take notice because 3 days later on January 23rd in 2015, they voided bets on another match between Innovation and Super, and it was confirmed that the betting lines for the first map had rapidly changed shortly before the match began.
And that is a whole lot of cash already at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about it in the first part of the episode, but when you have someone with like an 80% win rate against like a certain race against somebody else who has a terrible one, like you expect them to win.
Yeah.
And they took a look at it and like because the bets were propped so high on one side because everyone's like, this is an easy win, very easy to make a ton of money. A ton of money. And Super, this guy in the match versus Innovation, who was previously the underdog, had massive money betting on him winning. Innovation indeed lost the first map, but went on to win the series. Which goes to show that in matches like game of 3, right? You have to win 2 to move on. He knew he was going to win. So he just literally threw the first match and then just crushed him, the other 2.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So the betting was per game, not per match?
These people are deviants, dude. Gambling deviants. You could bet on anything. They had prop bets for would the match last longer than 15 minutes, how many drones you would have before you made a spawning pool.
Any fucking...
That's interesting. Because obviously with betting, there's going to be tons of random little things. I'm so curious what half of those were for Starcraft.
That's the most fun shit to bet on.
The biggest one was you have games that go into matches, right? Like a tennis game, match set, whatever. So you could bet on the games. You could bet on the matches. You could bet on the length of the games. You could bet on like almost anything.
Yeah.
When the first unit would be killed.
Oh my God.
Was one of them. Yeah. And this started to get all this news really started to get big on the Team Liquid forums, and it picked up a lot of traction. And a few days later, the organizer of the weekly online cup series, Alamo League, and the manager of Axiom, her name is Olivia Olimoli Wong. Holy moly. She tweeted out that illegal online betting had massive influence on the Korean StarCraft 2 scene. She claimed that multiple online tournaments, they were actually sponsored by gamblers, who in turn were allowed to watch the matches as in-game observers through the StarCraft 2 client, giving them an advantage and bypassing the delay on live streams.
Ooh.
She then listed some of the tournaments that were sponsored by the gamblers, mostly small online stuff, usually fetching a prize pool of like 1K and 2K each, though.
I mean, I guess that adds up, but like, how long is the delay supposed to be? Do you know? Like,
so you have the natural delay in broadcasting, right? I think, I want to say Twitch has it. Twitch used to do like literally live. Yeah. But now there's like a 5 or 6 second delay.
I think enough incidents added up that they had to do that.
Yeah. And on top of that, the matches were like typically after you like had your observer go to like the graphics department and all this stuff because they all use like effects. It was typically like probably a little over a minute.
That's some time.
I mean, when you're making prop bets.
Yeah. A lot can happen in a minute.
Yeah. It was also stated that many organizers had sent proofs to Richard Lewis, the leading esports reporter, for an upcoming article that was eventually never released. But at this point, Blizzard, Caspa, and now journalists were all informed.
And then some more shit started to come out, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is back in January. Now we move on to March, where another Team Liquid user named Star Galaxy, that one's easy to pronounce, reported heavy changing to the betting line of the 2015 Pro League match between Yoda and Bunny.
From Star Wars?
Kinda.
Bunny?
Yoda
Starcraft
from Easter? From the Bible?
Yeah.
Of course.
The very same.
Yoda from Primar. Sounds like another.
Yoda from Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. And Bunny from Gigantus.
Yoda's from Dagobah, you idiot.
Dagobah. Well, yeah, so I've actually watched all these matches, and during this match in particular between Yoda
and Bunny.
Not from Dagobah.
I've actually been forced at your residence to watch StarCraft matches by you before, so
believable, right? Yeah. And there was actually a disconnect in the match.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, Yoda disconnected and they had to restart the game about 3 minutes to a save state, which was real big.
Yeah.
Not a conspiracy theorist, but like coincidence.
I know. You sent this to me. And it's funny because I don't know what rules are in place when something like this happens. Like there
was a huge outcry at the time that there was no LAN on StarCraft 2.
Yep.
And it was eventually fixed. There was like...
LAN is being phased out of almost most competitive games now. Nowadays.
Until, I think at BlizzCon, they had to disconnect. Where like the senior leadership were sitting like in the stands watching it.
That's a rough thing to happen.
The way they do it now is they don't do LAN. What they'll do is
Tournament server?
They'll do a tournament server.
Yeah.
Because all LAN is just a local network. And so if you run the server locally, then there's no ping. So it's the same thing, but...
Yeah.
But way more reliable.
Yeah. Way, way more reliable. League of Legends does that now too. But this wasn't even the end of it. A few weeks later, Pinnacle Sports once again voided out all bets on an SE2 match between Bjall and Marine King in a Pro League match. Marine King had an 8-1 payout while he was favored. According to the statistics, he should have won. No problem. But the betting line showed that if you paid $1 to bet on him, you win 8, and he was the favorite player going into it. And
so that's how many people bet on the other guy?
Bet on the other guy.
Yeah.
Most notably during the match, he didn't respond to a proxy hatchery cheese where the hatchery was in vision. He saw creep on the map. So,
which is much harder to fake, I feel. Not seeing that. Yeah.
Yes.
You said a bunch of words and I kind of blanked out.
Okay. During the match, the guy who was favored on his mini map, he got vision and he saw an area that had creep on it, which means that a Zerg building was being placed there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is all being recorded. So
all recorded. And he lost to it, which shouldn't have happened at a pro level. Almost immediately once they notice it. These are guys that are responding in like less than a second to like drops in their base.
Yeah.
And he doesn't notice on his mini map for like 2 full minutes that there's somebody who's like trying to cheese him. And Marine King's team MVP posted that, they take these allegations very seriously, and they themselves concluded that he lost the match due to personal stress and pressure.
Right.
But the bets were voided.
It's gamey, but yeah.
Moving forward, once again, in April, extraordinary lines were being drawn between Seoul-Ki and Creator. Seoul-Ki was the favorite to win this Code A match, right? Like the lesser league in Korea. However, Creator was heavily favored by bets to win the first map, and indeed he won it.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Then finally, on May 7th, Caspa released an official statement regarding the match-fixing allegations.
None of the players involved. None of the players were involved in match fixing, according to Kespa.
Of course.
There had been some attempts to fix matches. The players were approached by brokers, but of course they rejected the offers, causing a loss to the investors.
Then this is where it starts to get real.
There are incidents reported to the police that some brokers and investors were jailed.
Did they really openly go out of their way to say, like, oh, they were approached, but they said no? Because that's like the most suspicious fucking thing you could possibly do. They would just be like, no, you guys are right to assume because they were approached, they just said no.
Look, people came up, they offered. Our players of highest integrity said absolutely not.
Yeah, why say anything at all? Like, maybe that's just an American mindset. It seems like overly deceptive.
In America, it would be like our legal department advises us not to make any comment on an ongoing investigation. Yeah. But so Kesper is clearly stepping up their efforts to take down the illegal betting websites to prevent further incidences. And they're also doing more to protect the players from these horrendous brokers. Until the case has been fully resolved, people should not make inappropriate accusations to players and cause harm to them. Yeah. And finally, they continue to communicate with fans until the final decision is out to prevent any future illegal acts.
So was it the months of people telling Kespa match fixing was happening, or?
Nope. A Korean news story broke the rant saying that a Korean betting broker offered Seoul Key money for match fixing. Of course, he turned it down, and the investor detained the broker. So when I talk about investors and brokers, investors are the people who are bankrolling the operation.
Yeah, which there were a few of those last time around.
You can't have seedy gangsters talking to pro gamers. You need a middleman. And the broker is the person who knows the pro gamers that's going to talk to them and convince them that they need to do this. So when he turned it down, this investor, this bankroller, he detained the broker after losing money in the bets. The broker felt threatened and asked the police for help, and in turn they launched an investigation and questioned Sulky. So they did things like remove the in-game clock to counteract some of the prop bets, like no Vespine gas before 3 minutes. Or Zerg speed before 2:30. One part of this story is true. The police did launch an investigation.
Yeah, so on October 15th, later that same year, the Changwon Regional Prosecution Services Special Investigations Division.
Yes.
That's a mouthful.
Or CRPSSID.
That's my favorite CBS cop drama.
Formally released an investigation report in regards to the whole thing. They named 2 players and 1 coach who had fixed 5 matches and were busted.
Gerard, the coach of Team Prime, Yoda,
the green man himself,
player on Team Prime, B-Bong. I think they just call him 4B or B4,
B-Bong,
another player
B-Bong
on Team Prime. And Team Prime, I keep mentioning them, and you're probably saying, who are they? Oh, yeah. They're one of the 8 teams in Kespa's Pro League. Their records during all 4 rounds of Pro League: in round 1, they finished 7th place out of 8th. Round 2, they finished 7th. Round 3 and round 4, they finished dead last.
Yeah, so in total, there were, 12 identified suspects. 9 were indicted and arrested. 2 were indicted but not arrested. And here's the best part. 1 was still at large.
Yeah. So you had this coach of Team Prime, Gerard, who was indicted and arrested. Obviously, you had Yoda, B4, 4B. A guy named Enough, who was a former Brood War pro and journalist, indicted and arrested. 3 brokers, aged 39, 38, 28. They do not give their names. They call them all Suspect A, and they go through the alphabet.
What, they're not
Suspect
John
A, Suspect 1, Suspect I.
Gold team rules.
All of them jailed. 2 members of a criminal organization. I think
they're going to be like, all of them executed.
Whoa. They don't publish names that easily, but the only reason people were able to put the connection between Enough, 4B, before Yoda, and Gerard was because they had, they wrote in the police statement something along the lines of like, during a match that occurred in April of this year between these 2 players, this happened and the match was thrown, blah, blah, blah. And people put it together. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
These are the incidents where the line shifted so heavily.
You can connect those dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, two members of
I'm not going to tell
some
you their
criminal
names,
organization.
but on this day at this hour,
At this time,
there was a Starcraft match. We're not going to tell you which one. But it was really cool. This one guy put a Zerg Rush down. And
It was really.
we're not going to say which one, but it was a televised event on broadcast TV. And I'm like, what ran that night? Yeah.
there was one Monday Night Football. It was on this Monday, but we're not going to tell you which team.
During the third quarter, when a quarterback from one team, and you're like, oh, I wonder who it could be.
I'm not going to tell you his name. I'm not going to
the
tell you.
guy's name rhymes with Boba, but we're not going to say anything other than that.
We won't say who he is, for privacy, of course. But yeah, now you have these two members of quote-unquote criminal organization. They are the financial backers. They're both indicted and arrested. You had two recruiters for gambling sites that were indicted but not arrested, and one of the brokers was wanted and still at large.
By the way, quote-unquote criminal organization is the name of my hardcore band.
Quote-unquote criminal
I can already imagine the font.
It's Papyrus.
It was also noted here in the police report that this case was unique because there were instances of players match fixing in StarCraft 1 and offline sports.
Yeah.
But this was an active coach collaborating with players of his own team. Gerard introduced them to brokers or directly solicited match fixing himself, receiving considerable compensation in the process.
Yeah. So they agreed to manipulate the matches.
Compensation. Man, I just can't.
Words today.
I know.
Now
Reading's hard.
It is.
these guys, they agreed to manipulate the match results in a variety of ways. Old Faithful, just losing, having the match go either over or under time. Typically, it was around the 15-minute mark, or losing a match while going over or under.
Yeah, all those side bets.
Yeah, the super side bets, right?
The brokers then approach the players through their own means, like posing as sponsors and offering a small amount of money to the teams specifically to earn the team's trust.
Yeah, so suggesting match fixing to Gerard.
God, when's this movie coming out?
It should be.
And who did you guys say you're with? We're with Stelio Soda. Okay.
We're with betonme.com.
They just have a visor on, tilted to the side.
So what they did was they went to Gerard, right? And they said, hey, we're a sponsor. We're going to offer you some money, right?
Yeah.
And then they just said, I think there's a lot more money to be made here if a particular outcome happened, right? And once one successful match fix was made, the brokers just went straight to the players, like straight to them directly, offered large compensation for match fixing. In Yoda's case, after he was actually paid to match fix once, the brokers actually blackmailed him into manipulating additional matches free of compensation by threatening to expose him.
Ooh, I wonder what dirt. Yeah, that's rough.
Well, I mean, they paid him the first time.
Good.
Yeah, they
good
had
point.
the first match
Yeah, I
fix,
guess that was, that's all they needed. They didn't have to dig any
They knew that,
personal than that, I suppose.
They knew that he was the one that let Obi-Wan train Anakin. So they got him on blackmail.
The Jedi Council.
Remember that guy with the big cone head? He was funny.
He died.
He did die. He died real bad.
So then apparently they also used an ex-pro and a gaming journalist as a broker?
Yeah.
Yeah,
enough. He was a famous StarCraft
That was him?
1 pro gamer. He was a journalist. He was a broadcast host, had many connections with head coaches, players, others in the industry.
I bet.
Enough used his relationships with Gerard and Yoda to approach them and offering match fixing for a fairly large fee.
Yeah, so one of the players even used Facebook to try and solicit fixes from either player, either by going to friends of players, but they were ultimately turned down anyway.
Yeah.
They still got paid, $9K by those gangsters, though, as operating funds, quote unquote.
Yeah, they basically said, if you want me to talk to these pros, I need a little bit of a slush fund to really wet the whistle. And they just took $9K from them.
See, they bet directly on the illegal betting websites themselves, which wasn't too smart. They didn't, in the end. They didn't even make a whole lot of money at first, especially since they were limited by a bet maximum on these games, as how most of those sites and apps operate, even today. Except then, any and all of the money they did make then became the funds for further match fixing down the road again. That's...
Yeah. In one case, one of these
that's a whole thing.
Criminal organizations, one of their members got false information on a fixed match and ended up paying the broker.
That's funny.
But then losing the bet. One guy gave out like $20K to one of the brokers to fix matches with. And then after betting about, I don't know, $26K on the matches, he won about $34K from those bets. He then went back to the broker and then got his $20K back.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Don't know how,
Yeah.
just that he received the 25 million won back in its entirety. Use your imagination.
Yeah.
So he paid somebody to fix the bets for him. Then he made money off it, and then he went back and beat the dude out for his original investment. One of these financial backers had the information on the match fixing. They even sent 2 recruiters to net cafes to recruit members for a betting club, which used match fixing information, where they received a commission of 30% or more from the members.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the recruiters was able to collect approximately 28.6K or 35 million won from the betting club and had to pay some of that money back to the gangsters, the financial backers as well.
Jesus Christ. And what were the total payouts?
Here we go,
Amazing.
baby.
Yeah.
Gerard spent about 49K on illegal gambling. Yoda, for the 4 matches that he fixed, the first match he got paid out about $16,500. The second one, they
not
said,
bad.
"You're fucked, you're doing it for free." The third one, he won about $8K, and then the fourth one, they said, "You're
He did it for
totally
free
fucked."
again?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
totally fucked.
Wait, why? Why did you do it for free?
Because they said if you don't do it for free, we're going to go to the cops.
That's where the blackmail comes in.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Crime.
Our boy Bong won just about $4,000. And from the time being, there was a certain notion of relief that the match fixers had been caught. But interestingly enough, there's a guy, I kid you not, his name is Wolf Schroeder. As in his
Wolf.
Well, his first name's Wolf and his online alias is Wolf.
I'm jealous.
An American caster living and working in Korea. He hinted that more players of even higher caliber might have been involved.
Sell them out, dude.
Yeah. I mean, for a quick timeline check, this Pro League where all this stuff happened was December 2014 to October of 2015. 4 days later, the match fixing with Prime is announced. And just know that Prime was a Pro League team at the time.
Yeah, so now we move to, this is January 29th, 2016.
A few months later.
Yeah, just before the 2016 Pro League, the same prosecution office, the Chunwon Regional Prosecution Service, releases a official report charging Life and BB Young with match fixing.
Yeah. Life was considered by many to be one of the greatest StarCraft 2 players of all time. He won 10 premier tournaments, Code S, GSL, etc., including 2 GSLs and the 2014 WCS Global Finals. So he made about $460K in prize money.
That's some cheddar.
Alone. Just alone,
Yeah.
making him the second highest.
So why?
Oh, just you wait. At the time, he was actually the second highest grossing player, right behind MC, who was another StarCraft 2 player. He's still ranked the number 14 highest grossing StarCraft player to this day.
Who's numero uno? Are they crooked?
Is Ninja, right?
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Told me that I should get angry when I lose. So now I do.
Oh, and apparently that one booker, by the way, who is still missing from the previous investigation, was finally found. And boy, did they start talking.
Squealing like a pig, dude. Jimmy the Squealer. That was his name.
What's the other one? Joey Tightlips?
Johnny Tightlips.
Johnny Tightlips.
Yeah.
And Jimmy the Squealer.
I ain't saying nothing.
I just love squealing.
I can't help
Makes me
it.
feel big.
I just love squealing.
So through another series of brokers, financial backers, and online bets, Life was paid a total of $62K to throw 2 games in the Giga Internet 2015 Kespa Cup Season 1.
That's not bad payday.
No.
62K to throw 2 games? That's 30 minutes of your life.
Man.
This next one's even better.
Yeah, BB Young received 30 million won, about 25.
Oh, no, that's less. I mean,
24.5K to throw 1 game in one of the global StarCraft leagues.
yeah. Add it up.
Both Life and BB Young played for teams and participated in the 2015 Pro League. Life played for StarTale and BB Young for CJ Entis, where he had been a member from 2008 until his arrest.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be playing video
So
games.
this is all Kespa?
Yes.
This is part of the WCS.
Yes.
Okay.
When the WCS was made, they invited the Korean leagues, but allowed them to kind of keep their names. And
Right.
outside of Korea, they created the WCS league, which originally wasn't region locked. So
Yeah.
so you had like KESPA teams that were operating in Korea,
Yeah.
which for a brief moment had foreigners. Then you had these essentially free agents that just traveled the world and beat the shit out of everybody until they introduced region locking.
Now, this next part I didn't know until you told me how old he was.
Yeah. The saddest part about this,
Yeah.
when Life was only 18 at the time. Yeah.
Old enough to go to jail.
Just enough.
Just enough.
And actually, the Korean courts denied his appeal for more lenient sentencing,
Oh, that's dark.
which Life had actually filed earlier.
Yeah. And then by
He's
July,
he's gonna be giving that name Life a new meaning. You know what I mean?
yeah, maybe
going to
Starcraft
jail.
5 will be up. But
Going to jail for life.
then by July 14th, this is also 2016, sentencing for all parties had concluded.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gerard, Yoda, BB4 were each sentenced to 18 months in prison on 3-year suspension, aka probation. Yoda was fined 30 million won, aka all the money he accepted for throwing the matches. Gerard was fined 10 million, or the money he passed along to Yoda for one of the throws, and BB4 was fined 5 million won, or all the money he accepted. Life was
How'd our 18-year-old boy do there?
sentenced to 18 months in prison, 3-year suspension, as well as 70 million won fine.
Okay.
Couldn't find anything on BB Young's sentence, but I imagine it follows the trend.
It's in line with it.
It seems like if you have match fixing allegations and you get convicted, it's like 2.5 years in jail, 3 years of probation.
And all of this is just in time for the 2016 Pro League.
Of course.
Yeah.
By the start of this, the team count diminished from 8 to 7. I wonder why. With Team Sibenu, previously Team Startail, where Life had played, they rebranded themselves Afrika Freaks due to the CEO of Sibenu being sued for fraud the same week as the match-fixing allegations were announced.
Oh, they went out with a better name.
Yeah, Afrika Freaks is a great name. In fact, the dude Bebong, he played during week 1 of that Pro League, the 2016, in a match against Alive from Afrika Freaks, where before he went and turned himself in, he lost the match.
Rough.
He knew, this guy knew that it was coming down the pipeline,
Yeah.
and he still showed up to play StarCraft. Fucking
Gotta
lost.
give it to him. Yeah. That's
Absolutely lost. Then he just went in and he's just like, I can't deal with this.
When we get into the apologies, where they admit that they are failures and their parents should have aborted them or whatever. I forget the.
we don't have those quotes this time around.
Not this time around.
no.
Yeah.
I imagine
Where they just go, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry at the end, like 800
I apologize
times.
for being alive. My parents raised a terrible child.
Yeah. Those were
But
some great ass apologies.
basically, this was the end of the end, right? By the end of the
Yeah.
season, it was pretty much all over. Prime was no more, and only Afrika and Jin Air were planning on maintaining rosters going into the next season. SKT1, KT Rolster, Samsung Galaxy, CJ Entis, MVP were all going to be disbanding their StarCraft 2 squads. And after it was said and done, the only team to survive in 2017 was, in fact, the Jin Air Green Wings. In a statement, the KESPA chairman, Jun Byung-hun, cites a drop in the number of Pro League teams and players, difficulty securing sponsorships, and the match-fixing issues as elements that led to the closing of the Pro League.
Yep. I mean, after 13 years of being on top, it finally had to come to a close. So now we're left with what we have today. Blizzard essentially came in and pumped a ton of money into the scene, causing a lot of the talent to leave Korea. You can also see this, as you noted, in the Overwatch League as well. All while KESPA is still out there trying to host premium-level tournaments. Their ideas for things like Premier and Challenger Leagues were ultimately used by Blizzard in the end, which in turn created the StarCraft 2 scene that we have today.
And League of Legends.
Oh, yeah?
LCS has a Challenger League.
Okay. I mean, it may not be as powerful as it once was, especially when you consider the ever-changing tides of what enthusiasts like to play, new hot trends, evolving genres, things like that. Obviously, the money goes where they go. But just to leave on a couple interesting questions I have for you guys and our guests, do you think this can or will happen again?
Undoubtedly. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Fucking people are watching Batman Begins in Fortnite, so who gives a shit?
A few weeks, I want to say a month ago, there was just an Australian team that just got busted for match fixing in CS:GO. It was in like an ESL. I only remember the name of the league because it was the ESL Mountain Dew League. And these young kids.
That's great.
It's like
corruption in the Mountain Dew League.
Who would have thought?
I thought that they were better than that. Telecom companies, banks, electronic giants, sure.
Yeah.
But soda?
Yeah, right?
The most
Mountain
pure
Dew,
of corporations?
But Coca-Cola, that Death Squad company, not them.
Mountain Dew is made by Pepsi, sir.
Like,
oh, sorry. The Blue Death Squad company?
Where can we go?
For good, honest...
You can go to the drive-in theater in Fortnite and watch Inception. That's where you can go. Safe from corruption.
What are you talking about?
We can also go into a real theater and risk death for Christopher Nolan's new movie.
For all of you listening, that's not a joke.
No, it's not.
That's sad.
Fortnite
You can watch a
hosted
movie in Fortnite?
Fortnite hosted screenings of Christopher Nolan movies to promote his new movie that's coming out in
And
theaters.
you can just shoot
now.
somebody while they're watching it?
In theaters exclusively.
Yeah, in theaters because they were like, Christopher Nolan, we should put this on demand so people don't die. And he was like, no, damn it, theaters, it's got to be on film or whatever. And
Listen,
so,
I like movie theaters. Just delay it. It's okay.
Just wait a couple months. Yeah.
Even that pompous-ass Scorsese put his movie out on fucking streaming after
Netflix.
complaining about movie theaters being the best way.
God damn.
And you can't?
The Irishman.
So I want to leave us with one more thing here, just because this I think this will be a fun way to.
Speaking of the Irishman, Jesus Christ, with these 2 episodes we've done.
Yeah, this is our version of The Irishman.
Where's the part where we fall over for 5 minutes?
Yeah. Your
It's
cane
coming.
gives
It's
out.
coming right now.
We're all gonna just stand up and collapse.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I go to the church and I go, I've been a terrible person. And he goes, God forgives you.
Don't you have to gum some grape juice first?
No, yeah, and some cereal, just like into the mic, just
Oh
like.
yeah, you just have to eat cereal without teeth and directly into the mic and just go, and then just have the sopping wet cereal just fall out of your mouth because your teeth don't fit in anymore.
Oh my God.
The Irishman sucks, everybody.
I
What a movie. What a
Worst
movie.
CG blood I've seen.
Yeah, that was the
since
problem.
The Expendables. There's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I'm just curious here. Do you think that Blizzard will make a StarCraft 3 anytime in the next several years?
Depends.
In the next several years, absolutely not.
No.
Will they replace
no
minerals with actual currency? So every time you want to buy a unit for 100 minerals, it's a $1.
I have a feeling
That's more likely than StarCraft 3.
I have a feeling if Blizzard ever makes another RTS, which I don't think they will, but if they do, it'll probably be Warcraft 4.
Yeah, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
You like StarCraft Brood War, it was one of those games that unintentionally became hyper popular. Mm-hmm. And then when StarCraft 2 came out, it started super strong. And then like the question you got to ask yourself here is, who's the villain? Is it Kespa or is it Blizzard?
Or the
match fixers.
Right.
I mean, well, we know that their villains are criminals.
I think that
Probably everybody.
Yeah,
But
I think they all work together to knock that game out of the limelight. And
Like
Blizzard's definitely evil.
I mean, Blizzard
I think
came
the villain
out
was
Yoda.
Riot and the Inevitable March of Time. Those two work together.
Like,
yeah, I guess that's also fair.
When StarCraft 2 came out, there were no major gaming leagues, right? And Blizzard kind of set the precedence of, one, making it an in-house thing and not relying on, like, localized tournaments. And on top of that, fucked it up royally. To the point that, like, StarCraft 2 was probably the most popular esport for a few years, and now, like...
It practically created it, as we covered in our first... Well, StarCraft 1, I mean. But.
And then it kind of cratered out.
Well, I should say it didn't create it, but it built this sort of scene where it could become, like, financially sustainable, and now it's...
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Now I think they just announced changes to the WCS league recently, where they handed over the reins of WCS to, like, ESL and DreamHack. So they're giving it back to like the
people that
which is like what they literally fought Kespa in court over.
That's kind of ironic.
Like you just gotta give us money, and then they're like no we'll do it. So like Kespa, which really cultivated this entire thing and made it as big as it is, because like StarCraft and Korea kind of go hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. So like will Blizzard make a StarCraft 3 out of it all? If they do, I hope
Eventually.
they don't fuck it up.
Yeah, it'll be a mobile. It'll be a mobile game.
It will be.
StarCraft 3 will eventually happen. Blizzard will get to the point where they get desperate enough to make a StarCraft 3. The question is, when is that time, and will they be long dead by then?
Let's hope. Oh, you know what? I should probably mention too. If you want to talk about how popular StarCraft Brood War was in Korea, Korea has mandatory military service.
Right? Oh, really?
And
it's similar to Israel.
Yeah. And they make exceptions for pro gamers.
Oh my God!
You can push back your military service. They use this clause that's like it's relevant to as I get older, my mechanics are going to drop, et cetera, et cetera. So I need to do this now. They accepted that, right? Then finally,
I guess that became prevalent in the ages of a lot of the players and stuff we talked about.
Yeah. Until Slayer's Boxer pushed back his military service, and it was finally the deadline. He had to go. You know what happened? 3 months later, the military is a sponsored fucking Brood War team. You think I'm kidding? The Air Force has a sponsored StarCraft team led by Slayer's Boxer.
He went in for basic training. Little did they know he was going to be doing the training.
That's insane.
They were trying to figure out helicopters. He had drop ships fucking for years.
Yeah.
He knew it was up. Yeah, and in fact, the team was comprised of him and other former pro players who were doing their military service.
Wow.
They legitimately looked at him. They're like, yeah, if North Korea invades, we need you fucking fighting spirit.
I mean,
watch that Lost Temple.
The thing about Blizzard is they're so dumb. No. Think about
they're just as likely to come on stage and announce all right, StarCraft 3 time. We're just kidding. It's just a GPS voice pack of Tim Raynor telling you which way to go in your car.
Quick question for you. If I say esports, what are the games you think of? Top of your head.
League and Dota, CS.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
Evo, the fighting stuff, yeah.
CS, Dota, Melee, StarCraft.
Okay.
Yeah, StarCraft is knocked off the list.
Wait, what about you, Chris?
Only Counter-Strike. Okay. Nothing else feels really... I guess Gears of War is pretty popular too, right?
Well, I mean, the Battle Royales... I guess Fortnite and PUBG, but that's more. A lot of that business is more in streaming than.
My point here is that the two ones that you guys came up with first were League and Dota.
MOBAs,
right?
Yeah,
MOBAs. They're also the biggest moneymakers easily in esports.
Yeah. And many people also call
LCS
them...
and the invitational shit is the prize pool for the invitational is like $80 million.
It's crazy.
But it's crowdfunded.
Right now. It is crowdfunded. But you know who takes a cut of that crowdfunding?
Valve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
also, I should say that these are also labeled as being the evolution of the RTS.
So Dota came out in the early 2000s, right?
Yep.
League's like 09.
And League was 09.
Yeah.
And then Dota 2 was 2011?
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't long after.
So I don't know the exact year Dota came out. I could look it up, but I believe it's 2002, 2003, somewhere around there.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So Blizzard waited, and then Heroes of the Storm came out after Dota 2.
Yes.
So Blizzard, I should say, for those of you listening that don't know, Dota is a mod of Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So Blizzard had every opportunity
to capitalize on
the fact that the now most popular genre of all time was invented as a mod for their game, and then they did nothing, and then came out after fucking Smite came out. They came out after Dota. They came out after League, and now they're stop support for.
Yeah, I was going to say they already killed kind of their initiatives to.
I'm fairly certain that Ice Frog went to Blizzard and was like, yo, let's make this official. And they were like, no.
Yeah.
We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then so he went to Valve, and then they made Dota 2. And look at them now and look at Blizzard now.
I mean, now they have a struggling Overwatch League?
Yeah.
They were just talking about solvency issues, and there's been reports of faked viewer accounts in the Overwatch League for months.
When do you think Blizzard's going to get on auto chess?
I mean, Hearthstone has its own auto chess mode.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
But yeah,
look at Hearthstone. Once the Lord and Savior Benjamin Brode, once he left, straight down the shitter.
Yep.
Straight down the shit. All I know is you need the minute they changed Leper Gnome from 2-1 to 1-1. I feel icky.
That was like one of the first patches. That's what you think it went down.
That's what I think what goes down. Yeah,
but like I don't know. Like I feel like Riot is a shitty company for a whole lot of reasons that we may cover in the future, maybe.
Yeah.
But like,
God,
people give Blizzard a lot of credit because they're so confident in their esports, but like Blizzard seems like they kind of suck at it.
Blizzard makes great games. They fucking blow at turning those games into something that is long-lasting in esports.
Do you think it's like a community outreach thing that they keep?
No, they just have heinous and egregious monetization policies and like the way that they deliver on. Once they feel like something's getting big, they say like, we'll stuff a little bit of money in it, but at the same time, we're going to take off the top. So with Hearthstone, they saw it getting big. So what do? They get rid of adventures, which guarantee people get the cards. Now it's all loot box, essentially opening packs. You have Starcraft. They're like, oh, the Koreans have been doing this for 10 years. And they're like, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. They pump a little money into it and then mismanage the shit out of it. Overwatch League, pump a whole fucking bunch of money into it.
They were a little late to that too. But
very late. Yeah. And then they have the genius idea. They're like, wait a minute. We could get more money from people just like Riot did because Riot turned their in-house, like Riot offered like a different revenue management model for the LCS.
Yeah.
For a while, it was like you had to compete to stay in, et cetera, et cetera. You could get demoted, lose your shit. Team managers and owners were like, this isn't fair because now we have to invest all this money and then we have a chance of losing it. So like, okay, we'll do like a franchise model where you're guaranteed a spot like a sports team. But then they said, okay, you got to pay us like, I don't know, $1 million to $5 million a spot. Blizzard's like, fuck that. We're not going to go to like teams. We're just going to go to fucking sports teams. So then all the, Comcast owners of like different basketball teams, like the owner of the Bruins like owns the Boston.
Weird.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So instead of asking for $1 million to $2 million, they're like $20 million a spot and they get paid. So they're just raking in from the top end, but then like they don't know how to grow or manage their games
it falls apart.
at all.
Yeah.
Like,
And that led to the Overwatch League being managed much like a sports league. And esports are sports in the sense that people want to watch them and they're entertaining and they require skill, but they're not sports in that
nobody says
it's not the same thing. You have to treat it differently.
Nobody says like, I can't wait for the Philadelphia shitty routers because I live near Philadelphia. Nobody says that. Like people like teams. TSM's probably the greatest example.
I mean, people like players.
Yeah.
More than anything.
And that's what the Korean scene did well in a 1v1 game is that they promoted those players and they built hype around them.
I mean, hell.
They let the players build their brands instead of like teams.
Valve does almost nothing for their esports.
To the most legal extent they can, yeah.
Yeah, and they're killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dota 2 and CS are both very popular. Ubisoft doing a better job than Blizzard.
Yeah.
You fucked up when Ubisoft's doing a better job than you.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Blizzard games also Blizzard games also rely way too heavily on patches and changes. Same with Riot. I mean, people were saying 5 years ago, like on analyst reports and shit, which is kind of off topic, that League of Legends was set to dim into nothingness by 2022.
Yeah.
This was in like 2015.
Yeah.
And miraculously,
was this around the time they wanted to invent their own internet or whatever?
Oh, they've long done that.
And lo and behold, Riot comes out and says, remember all those companies we bought up that people kind of forgot about? Yeah, we're putting out like 4 games at once.
Yeah.
They're taking the scattershot approach.
We're starting to see it now.
Oh, by the way, we're making a shooter. We're making a fighting game.
We're acquiring a studio.
And we're making a card game.
All at
Coincidence?
One. So what are they looking at? They're like, well, Hearthstone's dying. We'll fucking take that over.
That launcher's coming out soon.
Magic Arena came out. Yeah, we can fight with them. Counter-Strike? Yeah, let's fight with them too.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Battle Royale.
Oh, Battle Royale. Like they just sit around and steal ideas.
Auto chess.
Oh, Auto chess.
Oh, yeah.
They made that real quick.
TFT.
They must have taken all the resources from League of Legends and just diverted it into that, and they pumped that shit out in like a month. But yeah, Blizzard, a lot of these companies, they're just so symbiotic of each other.
To answer your question, who's the villain? Everybody. But who's the screw-up? I want to say Blizzard.
Maybe they dropped the ball the hardest.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they own the game, so
I mean,
it's every legal right to be like, well, we run this league now, but if you're going to do that, run it.
you know what's actually really popular right now in Korea?
What?
Brood War.
Of course.
Brood War's got a blossoming scene, dude. A blossoming scene.
Well, you can't take Brood War away from everybody.
Oh, perfect game.
But you guys want to get out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for listening to our 5 hours of Starcraft
yeah.
content.
Thank you, Chris. Sincerely.
Yes, thank you for all your research and
Good work.
the reading and hosting. It was
Fuck yeah.
interesting and compelling and a lot of info.
It seems like there's more stories to be told.
A lot of wacky names.
Oh, yeah. That's always the fun part.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Yes, that's what we do here. We mispronounce things from other languages.
And then make fun of it. That's...
Yeah. It's really not that hard.
You want to toss some plugs up?
Yes. Yeah, thanks for listening. How do I do this? Oh, I always forget. And we have a website, hotbuttoncast.com. You can find all our episodes there.
Including part 1.
Including part 1. If you somehow listened to part 2 and did not hear part 1, they're divvied up in a well enough way. You probably understood what was going on.
They're
But
kind of two self-contained stories, a part of a bigger,
go back
larger
and listen to
narrative.
episode 1. Go back and listen to the CSGO episode that we did with Chris way back.
Yeah.
Way back.
Was that also two-parter?
Do you remember those
No,
times?
that was a one-parter. That was before we did two-parters. That was episode 9.
Next time I'm on,
I think
we're
it's
ready
we're
for
almost
quad.
we're almost at 70.
Before we
I
had a
think.
studio.
Yeah.
We were still recording at the old space.
We were stealth
Rest in
recording.
peace.
Celsius.
Stealth recording. You can also find links to all the podcast services. You know where to find them. Just if they go off of iTunes, we're on there. Rate and review on iTunes. Share with your friends, word of mouth. Hit us up if you want to chat about anything.
Yeah. I think I asked
would
this
like to know
before.
what people are out there, and also follow all our socials: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
If there's anything you wanted to toss out there.
I'm pretty dark on social media.
Yeah.
But what I want to toss out there, watch the Slayers Boxer documentary. That shit's dope.
All right, I got to find that.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, give me that link.
I got you.
I'll put a link to it on the website if people want to watch it.
Cool.
And the next time I come on, it'll be an 8-parter.
No, this was only a 2-parter.
Oh, the next one was just 3.
It was just 9 hours long.
Yeah.
And you guys thought Tetris was going to tire you all out.
Just get ready. We just gotta wait for something more egregious to happen.
Oh, hold on. Let me check Twitter real quick.
Yeah.
Oh!
You just vomit. Yeah. All right.
Oh wait, can we get a different Terran OST outro right now?
Okay, Jason, you heard him.
Yeah, get on it.
Chop chop.
Oh yeah, and also before we go, thank you to our producer Jason.
Yes.
Every episode
For the nightmare of...
for the nightmare of recording what is probably going to be 4 or 5 hours of content.
Glad we pay him well.
Dude, don't tell him anything.
That's so
All
fun.
right. Yeah, goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Good night.